Well, you're about my height, or maybe taller than me.
How tall are you?
I was gonna say 6 feet, but I'm under 6 feet. 5'11".
Well, you know what's so funny? I actually sometimes.
No, I'm not even a half. I'm 5'11".
Okay. When I was younger, I would get drunk at bars, and then I would just lie to men about how tall. I'd be like, I'm like 6'1". How tall are you? And they'd be like, No, I'm
6'1".
Or yeah, or no, what is it? And I'd be like, Well, you know, I'm like much shorter than you. So or no, what was it? What did I say? I would lie to say I was shorter. I was drunk when I did this.
Yeah, it's okay. You'd be like, oh, I'm 5'8". And they'd be like, wait a second.
They'd be the same height. Yeah. So I would say like, yeah, I'm 5'7" or something like that. And they'd be like, we're the same height. And I'd be like, well, I'm 5'7" and you're the same height as me. So you're not 5'11". You're 5'7".
The best is when people say that, like, I'm 6 feet. I was like, nah, I'm not 6 feet. I know I'm not. And I won't lie to say I'm 6 feet either. I'm an honest 5'11". And then people be like, oh, I'm 6 feet. I'm like, no, you're not, man. We're the same height. Like, we're eye to eye here. Like, maybe with your Timberland boots and your insoles, you're 6 feet, but let's get serious, man. You're not.
Well, what's the point? It's just a number.
Yeah, but you know what? Funny enough, obviously you guys wouldn't know this because you guys are, together. But for single people like me and Danny and a lot of our listeners, Hinge put out a stat saying that 80% of women have their height restrictions set to over 6 feet on Hinge. Now, if you think about it, there's only I think in North America it's 15% of the male population is over 6 feet. So these women are literally cutting down their potential mates to 15% of the population. And
what's ironic is that I feel like women my height and taller, those are the ones with no height restrictions. A lot of my exes have been shorter than me because I really don't. At a certain point, you don't care.
And I feel like tall men don't care either. Do you care? I don't know. Did you care?
Care about
height?
About my own height? Or
no, not obviously. Why would you care about your own height? You're 6'5", man. I wouldn't care either if I was 6'5". No, but when you were dating previously, did you care about height?
No, I mean, no.
He's
I didn't
gotta
really
watch what I
think
say
about
here.
height too much. It was, it was just about who I was dating and if I liked her.
Okay, that's fair. That's an honest answer.
So my best friend's 5'2", maybe 5'1", and she'll only date a guy 6'2" up, and I'm like, a foot taller than you. Who are you? I'm 5'6", and I'm running into issues.
Oh, are we talking about VM?
Vicky, I'm calling you out right now. I hope you're listening.
It's always, I'm sorry, Vicky. It's always the shortest girls that have the height. They're like, I will never ever, and I'm like, how?
It's so funny to say because it's literally so true. Well, you guys were obviously both models, tall, beautiful people. You guys met in New York.
Yes.
And you know what's the best part? I read this. I want to know the story about how you guys met on the subway. I need to know this because that doesn't happen anymore. This is out of a movie.
It's all Ricky's dream.
Literally, my dream is to meet someone organically like that. I'm just sitting on the subway, scrolling through TikTok, and the love of my life just sits down beside me. It's like, hey,
that's so funny because I actually remember you saying that in one of your podcasts. You were saying that you wanted to meet organically, and I was like, he's gonna be so jealous meeting us.
That's why I want to hear this story. I need to hear the story. So. Who does a better job of telling it? Because obviously you've told it before.
I think it varies, but I think Madison does a great job of telling it. So I'm going to throw it over
Smart
to you.
Man, eh? Smart man. He knows. He knows.
It's kind of convoluted, but basically I was doing a job that was a fashion parody show.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And it was really hard to explain. So my agent was trying to explain it to me, and she's like, you know what? Just watch an episode. So I just watched an episode. He was in it, and I found this out way later for sub 10 seconds. Fast forward, I'm at the subway. I'm in this weird spot where if he even moves for a little bit, or if I move, he'll see that I'm there, right? I know him from somewhere. I'm like, I don't remember where I know this guy from. And if you've ever met any attractive men, because you're attractive, the more attractive a guy is, the worse he is as a person. Just especially with male models, immediately
I wasn't a male model, so I'm okay.
You see a male model and you're like, I already know I don't like you. It's you have to kind of prove that you're not the worst person I've ever met in my life.
You know he did well here.
So he was so gorgeous. I was like, this guy, I don't even remember him. I don't remember where I met him, but he's stunning. So he's probably just the worst. But I'm only going to be on the subway for 2 stops. So I'll just chat with him for 2 stops and I never have to talk to him again. And then obviously I went up to talk to him and he's like, yeah, I've literally never met you in my life. So I was standing there
wait, so you went up to him?
Because I saw him in that video.
Well, I do want to chime in and say that she was saying that she couldn't not talk to me. Okay. But that's because I saw her and I kind of positioned myself next to her. You know, I
Body language. You
Love
got
language.
you got to open up the door with the body language. You
like
know?
if we're across the room, it's gonna be hard to talk, right? So
Yeah,
I put
man.
myself next to her.
I respect it.
Which
Okay,
is ironic because actually, now that I think about it, you always say that like when you first saw me, how unappealing I was.
I did not say that.
Yeah, with my coat, and you said I
I
looked
mentioned
stupid.
I didn't like your coat. I never said you were unappealing. I thought you were very.
as he
interesting.
gazes into her eyes. Oh, I love this. What was the opener?
Oh, God, I can't remember. It was like,
You don't
hey,
remember?
no, I really
Was it
don't.
something like generic? Like, hey,
I remember. I mean,
Okay,
I-
okay.
So she asked me. She's like, "Hey, have I met you before?" Or she
Classic.
was like, "Did I just meet you at a casting?"
Yeah,
that's a classic line.
but I
you knew he was a model. Did I just meet you at a casting? Loki's telling him that you're a model too.
And so, yeah, I mean, I kind of thought she was hitting on me or something, and I was.
She
like,
was.
I'm pretty sure I've never met you in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing because I didn't even want to talk to this guy. I'm like, I'm tired.
think
I think
he's
it was
an asshole
done.
already?
I'm already like not wanting to talk to him. I'm heading home from a job. I'm tired, and I'm like, I'll just do this for 2 stops, and we're gonna talk, I guess.
Small talk. It was just pass the time.
Yeah, and then he like
There's no
then
cell phone service
I look
down
like
there
an
either.
idiot. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, and then he makes it look like I'm hitting on him. It makes me feel like I'm hitting on. I'm just like I'm like on the wrong foot, totally off base. I'm like I hate this so much.
But we had a really nice conversation.
In those 2 stops.
for those 2
I'm
stops.
assuming that you guys had a nice conversation. We're
I
here
don't-
right now.
Yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I just remember thinking like this girl's very different. You know,
Okay.
something really interesting about her.
Okay.
And she carries the conversation very well. So
She's like, I don't remember it like that.
Well, you know what's so funny? I feel like every time back in the day when you used to describe me, I used to think to myself, like, God, like when we move to Canada eventually, he's going to realize like there's a whole country of us. And like he just picked like the first one he met, and then he's going to get there and be like, oh shit.
The mic's closer to both of you.
sorry.
Daniel's got a face for radio, so I know he should have more more training with this.
Okay, so from there, this 2-stop conversation, we're talking 5 minutes, left a good impression on you. You were kind of up in the air at this point, or
No,
like,
I
where
really
did we?
liked
How did
him.
we get here from there?
He was so engaging immediately. I don't remember what he said. I think I asked him. I was like, "What's it like, or how do you like living in New York?" And he just answered really honestly. He's like, "I don't know. I'm like rethinking it." And he just was like, really vulnerable, which is so funny because immediately he stopped being vulnerable like from then for like 2 years. But he was really vulnerable when he answered. What about you? Like, are you vulnerable like when you meet people like that?
I'm a pretty open book, so like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm vulnerable, but I'm an open book. Like, I'm pretty. Like, what you see is what you get when you meet me. Like, I'm exactly. In a month from now, in a year from now, and 5 years from now, I'll be the exact same person.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe not 100% sure, but like in a relationship, like I don't change. Like I'll be the guy that still makes time for my friends, still makes time for my family, has my partner time. Like I don't really change my core characteristics for when I date people. So like when you first date, what I'll be like on the 100th date is still the exact same.
So it's like a bonus. It was like a turn on or a turn off, depending on how the
yeah,
date
if you
goes,
don't like
right?
it.
It sounds like it's a good thing because he's, it sounds like the perfect
Can't be that good. 'Cause
friend.
I'm still single.
Well, I guess for you, like, it would be a negative if that was you. Because I was like,
thanks.
I kind of hated you when I first.
Okay, what was the first date then? I love hearing first date stories.
Oh yeah, so our first date, it was kind of a date, not a date. She kept asking me if it was a date, and I kept telling her or saying like I don't
She's
know.
pissed now. You're like, oh, fuck.
Like let's not put a label on things. We're eating sushi. That's what it is.
You got something.
No, I just like, I don't know. Okay, maybe this is the thing. I was talking to a friend of mine. If a guy has commitment issues, it's like, I'm like really not that person to like help them through it. I'm out. Like,
I know, I agree.
But my vagina is like closed up and just like, I'm out. I'm not interested. I don't want to deal
Apparently
with
not.
it. So if you won't even
Apparently
say if
not.
it's a date, I'm like,
It's not a
should I
date.
just leave?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested in this
Okay,
anymore.
so what kept you? What kept you?
He finally said it was a date. He's just like, okay, this
I
could be a
did?
date. Yeah.
I don't remember.
I feel like
ever
we're
say-
reliving this.
I don't remember ever saying it was a date.
It's okay.
Yeah, you were like, maybe
But
it's
you know
a
what?
date. You're like,
She kept up with me at sushi. Like we were having all you can eat sushi, and I think she kept up with me bite for bite.
Let me ask you: is it attractive when a woman can eat?
I mean,
Like,
whoa. No. I want to talk about it in a broader context because I think it was attractive that she was herself.
Yeah.
Like, unabashed. She was like, I'm gonna eat. I don't give a crap what you think.
Love it. I went on a date once where a girl, we ordered pizza and she cut the pizza with a fork and knife. And I was like, is that actually how you eat
Yeah,
pizza?
but if that's how she eats pizza, what are you going to say?
Wait. So I asked her, is that how you eat pizza? She goes, no, but like I just don't want to get my hands dirty. I was like, eat with your hands. This is how we eat pizza. If that's how you eat it, you don't want to get your hands dirty, just go to the bathroom and wash your hands after. No
I
big
have
deal.
a lot of friends that can't eat on like the first couple dates. They get scared.
No,
and it's like they
oh my
forget how
God.
to
Order
eat.
that Big Mac, burger,
It's not about
French
that, they
fries,
just forget
everything.
how to eat.
I love how I sound
When they go
Big
home and
Mac.
eat.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like being self-conscious about
I think
eating. And
it's just self-conscious.
So shockingly, I used to do that. Like when I first started dating after my ex, I eat a lot, like an insane amount of food. So I would eat before I went on a date because I also can't leave leftover food on the table. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it bothers me to see leftover food. Like Danny, when we went for dinner yesterday with your family, with your mom and like all those girls, and they're taking away all these plates with like half the plate left. Inside, I'm like, oh my God.
Why don't you finish it?
Because they're not my friends. They're your friends. If that was my friends, I'd be like, guys, none of you let them take the server. Don't touch any of those plates.
You were better than me.
I will box everything, run home, bring it back home, and then come back.
We
I
went
can't
to
leave food left over.
We went to like a dinner with I think our realtor and her husband, and then her husband ate half the fish and chips, and he was like, "I'm done now." I literally was like, "I'll eat them. Like, take them back."
Yeah.
It was
I like everybody. I
it was
eat
so
so
embarrassing.
much. So,
I like thought about it later, and I was like, "Why did I do? Why did I just let
What? You're yourself. That's all that matters.
man, I agree. I used to eat before a first date because I didn't want to overeat on the date because I'm like, this girl's gonna see me just scarfing down food. Like, hey, you done with that? Do you mind? So
No,
super
that's
embarrassing, but-
attractive because like as a woman, you're like, I want to like feed you.
Man, I think it's so attractive when women eat on a date. Like when a girl orders the same as me and like actually eats it. In other words, like a girl being like, I'm so hungry. Like, okay, I'll have like a small side salad. It's like, I just ordered a steak with like extra potatoes and 3 desserts, and you're having a side salad.
And then stealing.
And then
a
I'm
little
stealing,
bit.
yeah. Well, the girl's like, yeah, can I get a salad? Hold the dressing, no chicken, no bacon, no. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, let's. Me and one of my exes actually over Christmas break, well, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, we went on a tour to find the best burger in Toronto. We had 14 burgers in 16 days.
What was the best one?
So the best burger, in our opinion, at the time, we decided Burger Priest was the best burger.
Okay.
But the best burger joint as a whole was Five Guys. Because it gave you that old school diner vibe, the free peanuts, the free
What kind of
refills
burgers
on the
did you have,
drinks.
though? Like, did you go to like Cabanos, Burger Drop?
So this
Yeah.
is like 10 years ago. We're talking
Okay,
like
okay.
2012. So we did Licks because that was a big one. We did this one like charcoal burgers on Caledonia and like Dufferin or something. We did Burger Priest. We did Five Guys. We did Holy Chucks. We did a bunch of them. Like this is 10 years ago. It's not like there's like burger places like popping up left, right, and center like there is now. But we did a good amount of like the cool ones, like Blog TO's 10 best burgers. We did them. We drove like at one point I remember driving 45 minutes to eat a burger. I was like, this is kind of crazy, but it was hot, man. I was like, yo, man, this is like a person I care, like I love, and we're just crushing burgers all Christmas break. One of them, we had to wait out for Burger Priest in the East End. We waited outside in the cold to line up to get this burger, and that's why we didn't rate it number 1 is because we had to eat in the car, and eating in the car bothers me.
What?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, low key, like taking food to go bothers me. Eating in the car is like second to taking food to the go. I need to eat food where it's meant to be eaten, which
I
is
don't know.
in.
Me and my friend used to go around university, and like that was our thing. We'd go get food, sit in the car, and eat it, and that was our favorite thing to do.
No. Oh my god! And I have black leather, so it's like your greasy fingers touching my
I
fucking
know, then
console and
wash
shit.
it.
I think for me, it's like I need to eat food when it's hot.
That oh god yeah.
Like
it's
as soon as it comes out of the kitchen, I want it in my mouth.
he gets really upset when he's like I like sometimes I'm like, isn't this good? He's like, would have been good if it was hot.
You know what?
The sass, the attitude.
COVID helped a lot of restaurants. Some people got better at like keeping their food hot because of the delivery takeout. That's all
Yeah.
they could do.
Well, did you notice McDonald's used to be the worst for their French fries because they would get like
They
soggy.
still are.
They still are, but this is exactly my point. Like I'll never Uber Eats McDonald's ever.
But you know what happens? We all got air fryers, so now it's fine.
That is true. Very true.
Fixes everything.
I need to get back. I kind of took the story on another thing. So first date.
No, this
was,
is food. This is an important topic.
and this is a good segue. If you notice, a good segue. First date was sushi.
Yep.
You were impressed that she kept up with you.
Yeah.
Good conversation. Obviously, it's kind of evolved from there.
Sort
So
of.
this was
Has it?
this is in New York, right? So what year are we in, by the way?
Yeah, this is 2014.
Ooh,
Okay.
wow. Yeah, he has all the dates. He knows how old our kid is. He knows when we
I
met.
would-
he knows
I would
our
hope-
wedding
I hope
date.
you know how old he is
old
too.
the kid is.
But she knows the milestone. She's like, oh yeah, right now he's going through this, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
It's like this is the like tantrum period.
I that's true. I do know all the periods. For you, it's like you know all the dates and the months and how old he is and shit.
Okay, so we're in 2014, first date. You guys are both working as models in New York. Where does it go from there? You guys said obviously first date goes well. She can eat sushi. He's not an asshole model like I thought he was. We're on date 2, 3, 5, 10, 7, blah blah blah. We assuming move in together in New York.
Yeah, we moved in after like 2 months.
Okay, so it's quick. You guys obviously knew you guys were each other's one, so that's good.
Sort of. We're like, it's so weird. We're such big opposites, and I think if we were just talking about this yesterday. Like all of your exes, you're pretty like good relationships with, and same with me. I like never fought with any of my exes, and him and I are just like
We fight regularly.
like we have like our regularly scheduled
Hey, I
fights.
appreciate the honesty. I like this. It's like, you know what? You didn't do the bed properly today. That's it. Today's the day we're going on it.
Oh, that's super accurate. And like, I think sometimes I even think to myself, I'm like, well, we haven't fought in a while. So this is like, I think this is like our big monthly fight.
Yeah, there's almost like a buildup. I mean, I want to say there's like some kind of gauge, right? Where maybe there's like a emotional fullness and then it kind of gets empty. And, you kind of feel it getting there and you're like, what's going on? Are we
Where
about
are
to
we right
fight?
now?
And then sometimes you add like hunger into
You're
that
straight
and
over that.
stress from work and other things. And it just like all explodes.
Where are we right now?
We're like in the middle.
I know. I was really snippy this morning. I'm sorry.
I was snippy too. I'm very sorry.
I feel like you're like the calm, cool, collected one, and she's like the hot, spicy one that's just like,
Which is
today's
so funny.
the day.
Everyone would assume that.
Was it
And-
the
and
opposite?
they're right.
Everyone. No, they're not. Everyone constantly says
This
like
is the fight.
I talk so much because like Daniel is like such in a positive way, like an emotional person. Like he's
That's
really emotional and he gets really like sensitive in a good way and like passionate. And I think when most
positively
people
emotional.
meet him, they just assume that he like sits there quietly in the corner while I like scream at him. But it's like no, I wouldn't say the opposite. You don't like scream at me while I'm in the corner or anything. But like, but like I feel like
We like scream at each other.
Yeah, we scream at each other.
But it's like love. It's like, oh, I hate you. Okay, God, I love you. I'll see you. Give me 15. I'll be back. Like,
no, we get pretty angry at each other. I don't know. Well, anyways, my point being is that I feel like I've never had a more difficult but rewarding relationship in my life.
okay, that's a
It's
nice
kind
one.
of like when we had Jun. Everything was so difficult, but it was the worst time of our life and the best time of our life.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
That's a good
Because
way
it
to
is
put
like
it.
arguably the biggest thing to happen in your life.
Yeah,
Actually, I don't even think it's arguable. I think it's the biggest thing to happen in your life, right? And then number
finding
two
your
is-
partner, right?
Yeah, find your partner, and then having a child is, you don't carry it around for 9 months for it not to be the biggest thing in your life.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like the fights make it, you invest more. Every time you fight, you learn so much, right?
Yeah, and you appreciate the highs, like when you're not fighting and you're like everything's good. You're like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah, and I think we usually
Should appreciate
we're
that
usually fighting about things that we're both passionate about, and like we fight to improve our lives and our relationship and to get closer, but we're not always great about how we go about it. So
That's
then
fair.
then we end up fighting, right?
Yeah, didn't we read somewhere that, like, you don't, like, a big misconception is that you fight to fight, but you're really fighting for something you want. Whether it's you want a closer connection or you want, like, them to care about you more or you want something to change. And even if you're screaming about, like, dishes or you're, like, jealousy or something stupid like that, it's still at the end it's about wanting to make your relationship better.
I read a blog post recently. I don't know how I ended up on it, but it was like some woman's blog. And it talked about how if you don't fight with your partner, it means you don't love them. Because you fight for the things you care about and you don't fight for the things you don't care about. Like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't mean anything to you, you don't fight for it because it doesn't mean anything. So you just let it go and kind of carry on. But when you care about something, you fight for it because it's worth fighting for. Something like cheesy line. It was a good article. I read it like a quick minute read or something, 2-minute read. But
Yeah.
it makes sense, right? You think
Yeah.
about it. You're not fighting for, I don't know, you steal my cookies. Okay, no big deal. I'm not going to start a fight over it because don't care about the cookies. Like, you steal
Are you
something I
sure?
care about. Yeah, fuck you.
You're talking about the moment.
Depends how hungry I am. Depends how hungry I am. Okay, so let's back to New York. We're fighting, but we're getting along. We moved in together.
Yeah.
Where do we get to today? How does give me the emotional, or not the emotional? Give me the
Just
physical
the
time.
summary.
Well, it's been a pretty windy, like, crazy path, right, hun? Just
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of things. Like we had some plans, but like how we got here was such a mishmash of weird events that have
Yeah.
happened and opportunities, and just luck and chance. And
I would say quick timeline is like we moved in together after 2 months. We got married after 2 years. I think right before that,
New York wedding or?
we got married in the courthouse in
Okay.
New York, and then for visa reasons, just to get things going, and then then we moved to Toronto right after that, and then we had our second wedding in King Carden and like Bruce.
Oh
like,
yeah, up
and
north.
then- Yeah,
Big
because I
wedding,
used
small wedding.
small relatively. It felt really big, but it was like 75 people.
Okay, what's the nice size? The people you care about are there.
Yeah,
And I want to say Madison had a lot of this was like Madison's plan.
yeah.
She was the one that was driving us towards all these goals that she had.
Because you were more laxy days ago. Are we getting married? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Is this a marriage?
Is this a marriage? Yeah, I don't. Do you want to call it one? Well, I have a ring, so. It was like, am I proposing now? Later.
Well, he wanted to move to the country, and I'm like, always have been, always will be a city girl. And I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm living in the country. And even if I did live in the country, it wouldn't be in the country in the States ever. So he bought a house in the country in the States. We like
She let me do it.
it.
And then we fought about it after.
That was like a really big fight. Well, because I
She
think
let
you
me
were
do it,
like,
but I
I'm doing
thought
it no
about it.
matter what. So I was like, fine, I give up then. And then after he did it, and he's just like, and then I was like, well, I don't like it. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, you said it was. I was like, you said.
I said you could do it. I didn't say I was gonna like that you did it.
Exactly.
It sound like
I learned a
Thank
big
you.
lesson that day.
But it ended up being like a really big blessing. Anyways, blah blah blah. We did that, and then we decided to move to Canada because I wanted to have kids, and I just didn't want to have kids in
Yeah.
the States. I wanted to like
That's fair.
a
Universal
salmon.
healthcare.
In a-
like salmon, they like swim home to drop their eggs.
That's fair.
Well, in addition to what was the thing on the first date you told me?
I wanted to have kids, and I wanted to have them in Canada.
So in addition to being able to keep up with me eating, she told me like her 2 deal breakers on our first date.
Okay, which I respect that. I do respect that. The deal breakers were
and
You
I
want
want to have
kids?
kids. I want to be a mom, and I want to have them in Canada.
that's fair. What are your
You.
deal breakers?
That's a great question. I don't know.
What are your
This
deal
guy-
breakers?
This guy's just so chill. He's like, I don't really have any.
you could have some.
I have like a handful of like really ridiculous ones.
Let's hear it.
Yeah,
Like-
let's hear it.
Well, I have like serious ones. I have my ridiculous ones. So, like my ridiculous ones are like you can't squeeze toothpaste from the middle. Like it's literally the bane of my existence. I actually almost dumped one of my like long-term girlfriends because of it. I gave her one. I was like, I wake up in the morning, I'm dead tired, and I come to the bathroom and I see this crumply ass toothpaste, and I actually just want to like yell. And I remember I was living just down the street from here, 300 Front Street, and she had slept over because she was still living at her family house. She'd sleep over because I was like a 5-minute walk to her work. So she'd sleep over like 3 times a week. And one morning I get there, and then the night before I told her, I'm like, please don't do that. Either get your own, put it in your drawer, because she had her own drawer, or squeeze it from the bottom like a normal human. I kid you fucking not, the next morning I wake up and it's just crumpled there, lying with the cap half on.
Ooh.
And I'm like, she fucking did this on purpose.
Yeah, that has to be purposeful.
She fucking did it on
Yeah.
purpose. I literally texted her. I was like, you're joking, right? And she goes, what? Did I leave the door unlocked? Something like ridiculous. Like, oh, did I leave the top on? I was like, I just remember texting her a picture. This is like BlackBerry Bold days or something. I remember texting her a picture of it. And I'm like, you did this purposely. She goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I swear I didn't mean to. Like, it'll never happen again. I was like, I'm literally about to lose my mind right now. I'm so mad.
Oh,
She goes, I don't understand why you're so mad. I was like, this is not the fucking time to say I don't know why you're so mad. Like, flipped the switch on her. I was like, so from that moment on, she didn't. We ended up breaking up later for other reasons. But,
For other non-toothpaste related
yeah, that's one of them.
Wink,
Hair in
wink.
the sink. That just it drives me nuts. Hair in the sink. I understand women got hair, they shedding and whatever. And same with beard hair. Like you trim your beard or something, wipe it down, clean it. If there's like an odd one, no big deal. But I had one ex too that she'd take out like clean the thing and just be like there. I was like, but that's another one. A kind of bigger one. Yeah, I'd want to have kids. That's a for sure to me.
Yeah.
And then I want either one of us to be like a part-time or a full-time like stay at home.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like a kid's being raised by one of us. I have no problem being a stay at home too, like just for obvious reasons.
For advertising reasons.
Yeah, no, I actually got in a fight with a girl on a date once. I told her that. I'm like, I'd want either me or myself or my partner to stay at home. And she goes, "Oh, how do you decide this?" I said, "Well, whoever makes less money."
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, why is it whoever makes the money? It should be whoever loves their job less." I was like, "That's a very fair point, but loving your job doesn't pay the bills." And like, I have a relatively expensive lifestyle that I want to live. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to do things with my kids. I want to give my kids all the opportunities I was given.
Right.
A lot of the opportunities I was given come from money, and I love my job, so I have no problem working. And my wife can, start a business or work at home, e-commerce, teach yoga. I don't even know what she would want to do, but whatever she wants to do, she could do. Or she goes to work, makes lots of money, and I would love. Oh my God, I would take my kids to school every single day. Then I'd go to the country club or the golf club, play golf and pickleball and tennis. Then I would come back. I would make dinner, go pick the kids up. They come back, dinner's made, and then Jessica and Johnny, we're going to soccer and ballerina. If I had girls, I would learn to ballet so I could help them be better ballerinas.
You know what though? Actually, I feel strongly we're putting John in ballet because have you ever noticed that like men who were dancers when they were kids learn so quickly how to like respect women, talk to women.
Agreed.
Like learn from them, like touch them in consensual ways, like work with them. And I always found like if there was like a straight kid with like that, that weird age where like opposite ends of the dance floor, it's always the boys who dance who just like so comfortable and they're so kind and like respectful.
I thought it was gonna be because of like Save the Last Dance or something. Like I can't dance. I can't sing.
There's a lot of discipline in dance too. Like I grew up a dancer. Like I danced my whole life, and there was only like a couple boys. I never got to dance with a boy.
Right.
You never got to dance with a boy?
Not in my age group.
Right, because there's so few, right?
There's so few. And
imagine the girls that grew up dancing with like Channing Tatum or something.
Like. Yeah, but the ones that do have, they also do a lot better.
Yep.
Judges love boys in dances.
Well, that's what I was also saying.
Really?
There's also a lot of discipline in dance. So it's
wait, so judges treat boys different than girls?
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
That's extremely sexist.
Yeah,
yes, it is. And that's life. Unfortunately, we're still living in
what is it? What's the saying? Like
penis points.
Don't work for the.
Wait, what? It's called penis points? Shut up. That's not a real thing.
Well, like, let's say, like, there was, like, two large groups, and, like, they're relatively same technical, like, skills, same, like, type of thing, and then they had a boy. It's like, okay, they're getting a couple more points than you.
So is penis points, like, a separate category?
No, like, it's just, it's just known in the dance world.
And you got 3 penis points on top of that.
So you're tired, but yeah, they had a boy.
Forget about all that. There's a lot of discipline in dance, and it's great.
But I also heard that Ryan Gosling... then don't quote me on this, or maybe quote me a little bit, but like you're already looking it up.
No, that's what she
Ryan
does.
Gosling, right? He got into like a scholarship or whatever. He was at a free ride at like dance studios because he was like the only guy, and they were like, yeah, whatever, like come for free. We need a guy.
Look at all the Mickey Mouse Club people. Like think about all of them ended up being like huge successful people. Like maybe not all of them, but Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling. People forget that he was a dancer.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum's made a huge career, and he was predominantly a dancer. I think he was in like Save the Last Dance or one of those. What are they called? Stomp the Art? No,
it was Save the Last Dance with
Step Up.
Oh
That's
it. With what's her name? Julia Stiles, right?
No, that's Save the Last Dance.
Step Up is Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan.
Yes.
And
that's when they met and got married after. Yeah.
They got married and then they divorced.
God, there were a lot of those movies.
Yes.
What is it? But there was like I think a Family Guy sketch where they were like, that's the category. It's like, I'm rich, you're poor, let's dance together. That's like the category of movie.
That's literally the definition of Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance, Step Up.
Oh, Step Up too. I don't think I've watched Step Up. I feel like they made like
Dirty Dancing.
Oh, Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, all of
That's
them.
a big one. Okay, so we're back to. I'm gonna reel it back again. So
Sorry.
No, this is what we do on this. This is the best part about this. We get to have conversations. There's no like script either. Yeah, so those are some of my deal breakers. Anyway, so you had 0 deal breakers, but I respect.
No, I'm sure I have
breakers.
some. Probably, I just haven't really thought
like you
about
wouldn't
it.
date like a Nazi, probably.
Oh yeah, but
that's a deal breaker.
That's like, hey, I want to date a good person. I don't want to date like a racist fuck or something, right? Like
no, but I want to say I'm pretty open minded, So Yeah. It's just,
I mean, you're
it's
dating. I'm
I'm
like his worst nightmare. He's like so clean. You've never met anyone cleaner. Daniel, when you were saying all of this like clean stuff, Daniel was just like,
That's like George. Like I'm not the cleanest person, but George is like a clean. When George comes in here, there's days where I watch George. He'll come in here, like, we got to clean. I'm like, George, it's pretty clean. And his form of clean is just like, we got to rearrange and throw out everything. And I was like, we'll come back, and I was like, half the room is gone. I'm like, what happened? Oh, we didn't need it anymore. I was like, I might have needed it. No, you don't need it. Trust me. I was like, all right, man. I guess I didn't need it. But that's George. He's like, he owns his family owns a cleaning business. So
this is very.
That's
apt.
why. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's why he's very, very on that. So, respect that though. That you said that on first date.
Yeah.
Put it out there because again, no point wasting anybody's time.
Yeah, what's the point? That is, what's the point?
What's the point wasting
But also,
anybody's
I didn't know it was a date. I thought I was just chatting with this guy because he didn't call
Because he
me for
wouldn't tell
2
you.
weeks. I gave him my number. Sorry, did you not mention that? I gave him my number, and like he just was like, just chit chatting with me over text, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I guess this isn't like a relationship thing. This
Especially
isn't
in
like
New York, though, too. Like, things move fast there. 2 weeks, that's
Usually,
like,
yeah.
you're getting married.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
No, I told you what happened. I mean, I was like super busy at that time, and then I wanted to text you, but I was
Super busy.
I was overthinking the text,
Oh, that's fair.
and then like I felt like the moment passed, and I was just like, all right, well, okay, well that was that, you know. And
But here's the thing: I fully subscribe to the belief, like, if he wants to, he will. I'm someone who's really not attracted. No offense. I mean, well, not no offense, because obviously you were attracted. Anyways, but
you guys are married, so you
Yeah.
can say whatever you want at this point. Obviously, you.
you probably like me. I'm
hey,
sure.
better late than never.
But I feel like if someone isn't interested in me, I'm not interested in them. Like I know some people, they're like, they're like, oh, there's like that chase. I had a friend like the other night. She was saying, oh, if they're too eager or they're too into me, I'm like not into it. I'm like, whatever the opposite of that is, that's me. I need the guy to be like super into me. I've had a couple of guys try and pull the like, well, I don't know if I'm like really interested. So I'm like, okay, bye.
It's the games.
Yeah, see,
Well, it's not
I'm.
games.
I can't
I
do
don't like
games
that either.
either. Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm very upfront. If I like meet someone, I'm like, I think you're attractive. I
Yeah.
like your vibe. Let's get to know each other.
Yeah, like let's
It's like
move in.
straight
Let's
up.
like live together.
I'll ask someone
Super
out within
quick.
like 5 minutes of meeting them. Like, hey, I met you. Think you're beautiful. You seem fun. Let's go out.
Exactly.
Like I'll do it within like 10 messages too.
I love that. There we go.
Like, yeah,
That's how
can we
it
go
should
for
be.
drinks or something? But it's like girls nowadays or women nowadays, because you can't say girls because nobody wants to date a girl. You got to date women. Blah blah blah. That's why I get on my TikTok all the time. You date girls, you don't date women. That's why you're single. Okay, whatever. But yeah,
Is there any
women.
truth to that?
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
It's women that are sending you these messages.
Yeah. Now, they're all somehow single too. So fuck me, right? I'm the one that's the problem. But no, a lot of times, I don't know what I was saying. Oh, women do want the chase though. A lot of times, like literally, people will be like, you won't message them. They find out you go on a date with someone else, and then they're like, wait, oh, well, you stopped. I'm like, wait, you didn't respond, like straight up. Like I asked you out, you hearted my message.
Yeah.
You double tapped my message. Okay, well, I literally said we should go out for drinks next week. How about Thursday? Heart. It's like, is that a yes, or is that just you like the idea of me asking you
seems
out?
like a yes.
I don't know. It's like you maybe just, hey, oh yeah, cool, thanks, appreciate that.
Appreciate you asking me out.
Appreciate you asking me out. Good job.
That
Like,
made me feel good.
yeah, literally, it's like it's like, oh, thanks, I appreciate you. You liked my message. Okay, so is that a yes? Or should I make plans? I don't know. Anyway, so. We're married now. I'm saying works. I'm part of this. I'm in the
We're all
middle.
married now.
Are you married yet in this conversation?
Yeah, we're married. We're
Oh no,
No, not at this
we
point.
are sort
You
of.
are.
so
yeah,
now
yeah,
we're
New
married
York,
in Grey
Courthouse.
Bruce, not Grey Bruce.
We're
Yeah, or
married
Grey
in.
Bruce.
Wait,
Where
we
was it?
jumped forward a lot.
Well, we did, but
We were married
it's
in,
okay.
in New York City, and
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
we
courthouse.
moved to
You said that.
Toronto
For the
Okay,
visa.
okay.
because I was like,
Moved to
"There's
Toronto.
no way that
Yep.
I'm living in the country."
Because you wanted to have a baby in Canada. Deal
And
breaker.
then-
That's how we got back to there.
And then I gave birth. We were talking about this earlier. I gave birth like right at the beginning of the pandemic. Absolutely horrific.
So we literally skipped like 3 years. Bang.
Yep.
Because you guys
I
were
mean,
married
whatever.
for 2 or
Like
3
we
years
fought a
before
lot.
that.
We went on vacations. We worked. It was, there you go. That's 3 years right there.
What did you guys do while you guys? Obviously, before we get to the main topic, what did you guys do before? So modeling, got married, still modeling.
Yep.
Are we working? Like, what are we doing?
well, when I met Madison, I was
yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
working at a photo studio. I
Okay.
was the assistant to the executive director at the Penumbra Foundation.
Okay.
It's like it's a photographic, like historical photography studio. So yeah, I was doing that and kind of running the rental space.
Okay.
And I was doing really well in my modeling career. And then I feel like you thought yours was like kind of coming to a close.
Yes.
And then you did that, like the Rise of the Asian Male Supermodel shoot. And then his career went like, and then I was like Daniel Liu's girlfriend. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I was like no longer Madison. I was like, no, but in a good way. Like, you just kind of like killed it. And then I feel like it introduced him to so many different clients, and they all like loved him, obviously, because look at him. And then he was in that Marvel movie, and then I think we're here now. But that's like his career, his modeling career. When we were still in New York, he started taking up woodworking.
Yeah, it was kind of an extension of photography for me. Yeah,
you're gonna have to explain that one to me because I don't draw that line.
Yeah.
How is woodworking an extension of photography?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, no,
He's like, no one's really asked me that before.
Yeah, everyone I've said that to, they're always like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I get creativity, like the
But yeah,
creative
it's
sphere,
really just a creative
Okay,
angle. Like, the photography, you're composing things on 2D. You're making 3D images look beautiful in 2D or compelling or, evoking emotion, and then taking that into something tangible, a little more tangible. I mean, obviously with photography, you can print things and it's tangible, but building things that are functional, and designing things that are functional and kind of can, say something or make you feel a certain way or help your life,
Were you good?
Uh,
Well, the photography, obviously you were good. The woodworking, were you good?
Okay, Daniel's like such a perfectionist, and he has this really irritating habit of like picking up anything and immediately being amazing at it. Almost everything. It's just super irritating.
He's got that skill.
I don't necessarily think that's true, but I can like obsess
Modest.
about things and really focus and kind of like just
Well,
obsess about
figure
something.
it
you'll
out.
do like 6 hours of research a day for like 2 weeks, like before you even touch anything. So then like the first time he does something, it's already perfect. 'Cause he already like just did way too much research.
It wasn't perfect. It's a lot of practice though.
Oh my
And-
God.
I'm the
Humble,
opposite.
humble.
I'm like, I see someone. Okay, I'm throwing out the manual. Okay, let's just play with this thing, figure it out.
Me too. And
Yeah,
then I
so-
like fail at it
Yeah,
immediately, and I'm
that's
like, I hate
great,
this.
Well, yeah, no, see, I can't give up because I'm like, I need
give
to
up.
figure this stupid. Unless it's a Rubik's cube.
Cannot make an IKEA furniture, and the instructions are right there. There's like 3 bolts, and I'm like, oh, I think I need 6.
Yeah, it's weird how many of your
Like,
friends I've like
how?
helped build things for, and I'm not a handyman at all. But I've helped your friends a lot of times. We won't mention the times, but okay. So woodworking, then your kind of career. So the woodworking was before the re-rise of the
During?
career.
It was kind of during, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just really wanted to. I don't know. I felt like pulled in that direction, and
Because your dad is so handy in that way, and I think this is my own personal like armchair psychologist feeling. It's like I think he, at that time in his life, I think you really started to, especially ironic because like the rise of the Asian male supermodel. I think you started to really reconnect with your roots, not only like your cultural roots, but like your roots with your family, your sisters, like everybody. And I think you really started to just kind of like reinvest your time back into that in every aspect of your life.
Well, I think you had a big part in that as well. Like
How?
you really, well, like Madison, she's so caring and loving, like always giving, right? And she really made me feel safe and loved, like no matter what. So I could kind of go and explore these things, and
It's awesome.
That's nice to hear.
And
I didn't know you did
maybe you were like, what is that saying? Like leading the
The
horse
fight
to
meter's
water
going
or
down right
something?
now. Right? The fight meter's slowly coming back down. She's like, I don't feel the urge to pick a fight tonight. yes, brownie points.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rise of the male Asian supermodel.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
No, but
That was,
that's fine.
I thought that
It's
was
close. It's
no,
pretty
isn't that
close.
perfect?
No, Asian male supermodel,
Asian
not
male supermodel.
male Asian supermodel.
Oh, okay.
Asian male
Oh,
supermodel.
okay.
Okay.
It's like so close.
What? Tell us
Doesn't
about that
matter.
because obviously, like you model, it makes sense. How did it start? Give us the background on that.
Oh, that was a pretty big surprise for me because
Yeah.
I think I just went to go shoot with Idris and Tony, these 2 photographers in New York, great photographers, and I thought it was like a casting. They took a couple portraits and then said like, "Hey, it was great seeing you. Have a wonderful day." I was like, "Hey, cool. Like, hope to see you guys soon." And then I think maybe a year or 2 later, the editorial came out, and then it was like this big thing.
And you had no idea.
I had no idea that was actually part of it. I thought it was
it came out of the blue. It was like really surprising, and
It's kind of cool though.
But you looked amazing in it, obviously. I think, and yeah, it was like I think it just started getting those pictures that just kind of like people start saving or like using on Pinterest. It was like one of those, like everyone loved it, and everyone was like, "Who's that guy?"
You're like, "That's my guy." And then the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
We're allowed to talk about that?
What? Why are you pointing at me?
You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, but it was him in the Marvel movie.
You mentioned it.
Okay, so after I gave birth, he was, how old was he? He was 6 months old. It was like 5 months old when we started the process. But basically, as it turns out, the short form is they were looking for, it was in the Shang-Chi movie with Simu Liu and Daniel at the beginning of the movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
And you saw him like get out of the car.
I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's like really quick. So right at the beginning of the film, it's like, this guy, like, Simu's like, doing push-ups at home, and then it like cuts to like, a foot stepping out of like a cool vehicle, and then you pan up and you're supposed to think it's going to be Simu, and then it's Daniel, and then Daniel like throws his keys at Simu Liu.
I think I do remember that scene. Oh, that's crazy.
So apparently they had like put together a mood board of like who they wanted, and Daniel was kind of all over it, but they were casting in Australia, so they cast in Australia and they couldn't find anyone, and then they cast in Asia and they couldn't find anyone, and then they started to cast in North America, and they were like, wait a second, this guy all over our mood board, like, he's in North America, why don't we just get that guy? Why did we have to cast? So they like basically called him and they were like, can you just like send us some photos? Also, can you come to Australia for like a month? It was like during
the pandemic too. It was like hard to get to
It was
Australia.
so crazy just getting over there.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a 2-week quarantine, like
each way. Yeah.
There was each way. And a long flight.
And with a 6 month.
When I went to the airport, it was crazy. It was like almost out of a movie. Like they had plastic sheeting covering everything, and it was really, there was like no one there. So
Nightmare fuel.
And
I texted my agent a picture of the place, and it's like just like out of a movie.
And wasn't it like when he actually like missed one of his flights because the like the flight, I don't want to say attendant, but she was wrong because the only people like technically who were allowed to fly to Australia were like Australian citizens, and that's it.
He had
but
to have
Daniel
some special clearance.
had a special clearance from like the governor of like the province, and then because that flight lady, like she had not met anyone who had to do that, she was like, oh no, you don't have to fill this out, that's fine. And then you ended up missing a flight because you were supposed to fill it out.
Yeah,
my friend got stuck in Australia for like 2 years, couldn't see her family.
Are you
She
serious?
moved there. She met her boyfriend here in Toronto during school. They ended up moving to Australia together because he's from there. His visa was up there. She went there, used her visa, and then she ended up extending it. And then because of everything with COVID, if she came back, if he couldn't leave.
Right.
So if she came home, she could have gone back, but he wasn't allowed to leave. So it was going to be like, I think a year or something. So she ended up staying there, missing like her niece's birth. And
Who is this?
My friend Simona, who's in town right now, actually. They're both here.
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about her because you didn't go see her the other night.
I know.
Bad friend.
I was a bad friend.
That sounds so scary.
So she stayed in Australia for a year for a relationship?
She did, I think, for like a year and a half, and then she ended up getting some sort of visa, partner visa.
Yeah.
Which she was finally granted, which was very
There
hard
must
to
be
get.
some like it's COVID and I'm like kind of stuck here.
Nothing.
No, there was no
There
visas
was the
like that.
worst rules ever there. Like for like she couldn't leave, so they ended up getting the partner visa. It was supposed to come in like 3 months, ended up taking 8 months. Finally was able to come last summer for the first time, and then now she's like, they're basically fine.
Actually, that happened to a friend of mine in Japan because in Japan it's like you can't get like citizenship unless you are born and raised in Japan, like pretty much. So she's married to a Japanese man. She has a son with him, but like she's like she couldn't leave for, I think it was like 2 years or something like that. Yeah,
it's really crazy.
I totally forgot about that. That must feel so claustrophobic. You're like, you can't even leave the country.
Well, she's also so far from like family.
Yeah,
that's
like,
the
like,
thing.
for her, she had
like time zones
him.
too.
Yeah,
and then his family, his friends,
right.
And especially during a time where it was like so no one knows what's happening. But it's all done, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's not go back there.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
for
knock
some
on
wood.
wood.
It's like
not twice actually. Yeah, I got knocked twice. Okay, so you went out there, did that. Now, where do we get to matcha now? That's what I want to know. Because we haven't talked matcha at all, and obviously this is a big part. You guys started this matcha company.
Yeah.
Where does this tie in here?
So we got really into adaptogenics in general when we were living in New York. Because we were working as models, and we were working for Zara a lot. And there was this, they would fly you out. So they fly you to A Coruña.
Oh, did you guys ever work together on the same campaigns? Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, we actually work on campaigns more often now that we're in Canada. So we've done like Joe Fresh together and
that's super
Hudson's
cool.
Bay.
Holt
Renfrew. That's so embarrassing. I knew that was wrong.
You knew it was wrong as you said it, but you still said it.
She just said it super quiet. She's like,
that's okay. That's super cool that you get to do those together.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? We always fight like the night before we shoot together. So we wake up the next morning and we're like,
wait, there's no shoot tomorrow, is there? No, we're good. We still got time. Okay, so adaptogenics, you're shooting together.
Oh yeah,
Zara,
so we were
flying places.
We were like, we'd fly to Spain for a week. You finally get used to the jet lag, and then you're flying right back. You're exhausted, and then when you drink coffee,
and they're flying us out at like 5 a.m. too.
Yeah.
When we're done with the job after a week.
Yeah, so you just get so exhausted and like visually, like like your skin is like
you don't feel
crappy.
good. Yeah.
And I remember we started kind of like looking into adaptogenics because I had accidentally taken a mega dose of ashwagandha at this cafe in New York, and
I love this.
It changed
you accidentally
my life.
took something that changed your life. I love that. What's it called?
Okay,
Sorry, what was it called?
Ashwagandha.
I have no idea.
So
what
ashwagandha is like a Ayurvedic root or I want to say vegetable, a root herb that can help your anxiety. And I used to have like roughly 5 to 8 panic attacks a day. No exaggeration. It's crazy to think that used to be my life.
And
it's
it
really crazy.
It really affected Madison. Like it really helped her a lot.
But I took it accidentally. I took it blind because I was going to the cafe and you get like the stamps and it's like 10 stamps and you get a free one. And I'm always that asshole who's like, oh, I want a venti, like 80, give me everything. I want my money's worth. So the fanciest one was like a whatever, like a beauty. It was called like a beauty drink or something like that. And it had like collagen and something else and ashwagandha. And I thought ashwagandha had something to do with like.
How do you spell ashwagandha? Like ashwagandha?
I can't spell stuff out loud. I have to like write it out.
That was perfect.
Yeah, there you go. But I accidentally took it. I just assumed it was an antioxidant, and I saw him put 4 dropperfuls or something like that. I can't remember. 4 dropperfuls. And I had it, and then the rest of the day, I was like Oprah. I was so calm, and I didn't have one anxiety attack. And then there was this one guy who was being so rude to me. But previously, we had a conversation during the day where he was saying, like, oh, I don't think I could ever get married because I'm too selfish, blah, blah, blah. And then later, he was so rude to me. And I thought to myself, and I was like, Madison, like, look inside yourself. He told you who he was as a person. And you have to accept that from him. He told you he was a selfish person. And, like, you have to be okay with this. And I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Because I get so sassy so immediately. And I was like, who am I? And then like later I see the ashwagandha thing and I was like, maybe it's that. So I Googled it and it's like, oh, it actually calms all your stress. And I was like, that was probably it. And then I went to go see the exact same brand and it was like, please put in 4 drops. And I'm like remembering that this guy had put in 4 dropperfuls. So he just like mega dosed me that day of ashwagandha and
you got your money's worth though.
Sorry,
you got your money's worth.
Damn straight I did.
Yeah,
life changing.
It was like life changing.
So you come home and you're like, babe, hun, ashwagandha,
and it kind of sent us down the path of like nootropics and basically things to optimize your life and what you're putting in your body. And we were already eating like really clean to help us work out better, and like we already knew food affected your your mood. And then coffee was always such a love-hate relationship for both of us because you need coffee otherwise you die, but it also kind of gives you those jitters. So we started we found out about matcha as an adaptogenic, and we were like, I think we'd had some a couple times when I had my tea phase. And we were like, wait, that's actually like really delicious. Like we kind of thought of it as almost like a treat, like something nice. And to think of it as actually something healthier for you was kind of funny. Like the thing that's healthier usually is not as good. It's a step down, but it was like a step up and it was actually healthy for us. Anyways, that's the beginning of like how we got into matcha in general. But
this is what year roughly? Because you're still in New York at this time, right?
Yeah.
This is what, 2017, 2016?
Yeah, we're like the final episode of or Better Call Saul. We're just hopping around in flashbacks, timelines.
That's what the best part is. Okay, so we're into ashwagandha. That's when we started looking at all these other like herbs and medicines.
Life
and-
optimizations.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Madison likes to optimize.
I do like to optimize.
Yeah.
So how do we get here?
You say holding.
As I say, grabbing it. Boom. So how do we get from idea to product?
So we came to Canada and we got really used to a certain level of matcha because we're fancy people. And it was really difficult. We started throwing money at the problem. Like we were like, okay, well, we're definitely not going to find a deal on matcha in Canada. But like, okay, let's just get the good stuff. and
Sorry,
get it
why
over
can't you
with.
find a deal on matcha in Canada?
We didn't know. And we
okay.
even spent more money, and we were like ceremony organic, like pretty expensive when we would get there, and honestly the quality was like terrible. So we were thinking we were like, wait a second, like do people just import really crappy matcha and then just lie about the quality of it? Have people been keeping good matcha from the people of Canada? I think that was part of it.
It was surprising. I thought, Toronto, like being a big city, it would be easier.
A very multicultural city too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Where does matcha started?
So interesting.
Matcha originated in China, and then it was brought over to Japan, I believe by a traveling monk, and then they perfected it in Japan.
Okay. So it started in China, then got good in Japan. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you know roughly when? Was this like
That's a
ancient
good
times or is
question.
this like recent times?
No, not recent times.
God, when was it?
Like we went hundreds of years, tens of years, thousands.
Asking us like trivia questions at this point.
I'm curious because so I personally don't know much about matcha, and like I obviously I read the info that was provided, but I'm not a big matcha guy.
1191.
Yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay.
That's
So we're
what I
thousands of
remember
years
thinking.
We're
ago.
talking thousands of years ago, and that was when it was the introduction of matcha in Japan, and that's when it was perfected.
So that's when they made it
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, how do we? So we get to we're in Canada, haven't found a good source at a good price. I guess.
Yeah.
You're like this is a problem.
Yeah, it was
Where
a
were
problem.
you getting your
and-
matcha at the time?
Anywhere. We were like asking friends. We were big. I had friends. They were like, "Don't worry, I'll hook you up." And they gave us. Actually,
I love
like
it's
try
like,
this
it's like a
one.
drug. Eh? It's like don't worry, I got a guy. I got a
Yeah.
guy.
and then actually it's so funny because now I always make fun of my friends who like recommended this. She was like, "This is the best brand. Like, don't worry." And I always mock her. I'm like, "Oh, you want to stick with your other matcha?" She's like, "No." She's like, "It's fine."
Must have been a shock though too, coming from like New York, where there's like so much there. I find everything's better in New York. Coffee.
I find
anything
everything's
great.
better in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like there's
I just
too
love New
many.
York.
The food is incredible.
I'm like,
here.
why did you guys leave?
I find that there's too many tourists. It like maintains the bad places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I get that.
They can like get away with it for longer. In Toronto, you have to like
I
be
guess
on
I'm
top
just
of
here
it
too
or you're
often.
closed.
I didn't live there, so I can't say anything. I'll listen to you guys.
Well, they live there, right? Okay, so you found out that it's not. So at the point where like we can't find our good, reliable, fair price one. So we're like we're just gonna make it ourselves.
That's pretty much it.
That's I feel like Matcha Dive was kind of where all of Madison's and my passions kind of like
Intersected?
converged.
Yeah.
Like with the woodworking and the photography, there was a bit of design and
Building.
and then like with the woodworking, I started teaching myself how to do 3D models on tiny homes because I really wanted to build a tiny home at one point.
Love that.
Just kind of live, just get out of that whole race and live self-sufficiently. And then with all this design, and it got really into architecture and learning about that, and
I can feel the perfectionist in him.
the matcha and like the creative process with this and the branding, like Madison really kind of pushed a lot of that forward. But it was such a great way for me and her to combine our, like she kept talking about how are we going to build our lives let's think about how we want our lives to look, and then let's build our business around that.
Reverse engineer.
Yeah.
I feel like I meet so many people. They go like, "Oh, I can't do this because my life is like this." And so I went, okay, well, what we want our lives to be like, and then let's do it the other way around.
Okay, makes sense.
Well, so many
Yeah.
people say, like, I can't prioritize this because of X factor in my life, and just make sure you don't have X Factor.
Yeah, no. When I switched careers, maybe about 9 years ago now, I said, "What are my long-term goals? How do I get there?"
Yeah.
Kind of just like you said, reverse engineer. So I ended up switching careers. Yeah, about 8 or 9 years ago. But it's grown in Japan. I'm assuming you guys probably went there.
Yes.
Went there. Like again, I don't know anything about not
Okay,
anything.
so
I know. So you go there and you're like, hey, we need the best matcha. We're gonna try every matcha here until we find the best person, and then copy with like.
So
Yeah. Sorry,
the goal was to basically find a farm to partner up with, and we actually ended up looking for 2 years because I felt like we did spend a lot of time in Uji because the best matcha comes from Uji, and we've always known this, and that's like the rule.
Is that like a thing?
That's the thing. That's like saying like
Yeah.
if you're gonna go get champagne, you're gonna go to the Champagne region of France. So like where else would you go? So it's kind of
Right.
like we went to
Makes
Uji
sense.
and we spent so much time there, and we actually found out that the younger generation of matcha farmers, like the kids who are getting into it because they're passionate about it.
Not just because they have to or because it's been
It's
passed
a family. They're all in Shizuoka now. So thankfully, we found out about the Shizuoka. There's also another. What's the other region where they're making great matcha as well? There's 2 new regions that are coming out.
Oh, you looking at me he's like, what the fuck? Why are you looking at me? You answer this.
This is new to me, Madison.
Yeah.
No, it's not new to you. There's 2 regions that are like brand new. Like
I'm gonna
up-
kill the name.
Kakegawa?
Nishio.
Spell it out.
Nishio.
that's not the place.
Fukuoka.
No, that's not the place I
Fukuoka?
was thinking of. Fukuoka.
Is that
That's not where I was thinking of, but it very well could be. Very well could be. Is that a word?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a couple words.
Kagoshima.
Kagoshima? That's where they do a lot of tea, I believe.
But
Can I open this, by the way?
Go
Yeah,
for it. But we ended up finding there was a big, what's the word I'm looking for, movement of young people making matcha and with organic practices and
Doing regenerative farming.
Regenerative
and just, like,
farming.
innovating.
Okay. Is it like sushi chefs out there where it's like their whole family's done it so that their great grandkids done it and they keep passing around from generations? Is it the same thing with matcha?
that's kind of how I feel about
I think so. Usually.
Uji.
Yeah.
Where it's like all the farms I think are all family farms and have been for X amount of years.
Yeah, because
that's
I
why
really do feel like it's an art,
Yeah.
Like knowing when to pick the tea leaves, knowing how to harvest them, knowing how to taste it. Like we have tea sommeliers that will judge the tea, make sure it's good, and they can tell you what region it's from. Like
Really?
they can tell you the tasting notes, if it's got a good finish, all these things.
Danny, can you boil some water, please? I want to try this right now.
you do.
I've never had matcha.
You look really
Guys.
psyched all of a sudden. Wait, what?
Honestly,
What
I'm not
was-
kidding. This
whoa.
is super embarrassing, but I'm going to put myself on blast. I was opening this. I'm like, where's the matcha? I was like, is it like, do you like poke it? And I'm like, this is to whisk it, right?
Yeah, that's
Oh
the
my
whisk.
God.
I was like, is this like a contraption where like the matcha comes out of this? Because I remember seeing there was a travel pack. I'm like, oh, maybe this is the travel pack. You like squeeze it and it comes out or something, and then you turn it and whisk it. But I'm like, no, there's no way they forgot to put the matcha in there. Or something.
You were thinking so hard about that, weren't you?
Like,
your head
you
was
guys were talking. I'm like playing around.
I
with
was
it and put it
wondering,
on.
like you suddenly had a flip switch. You're like, oh, I figured it out. Okay, I need some matcha now.
That's what I was like. I'm like,
Like I found
let me open this just to make sure I'm not losing my mind here. Then we can drink some on the episode.
Amazing.
Okay, there we go.
Well, now I'm like, now I'm
So,
nervous. It's kind of an acquired taste. I'm like nervous
It's
that you're gonna
okay.
be one of those
Do you-
like three people.
Do you
who
know
don't
like the
it.
difference between like
Okay,
matcha
perfect.
caffeine and coffee?
Oh yeah, that's the best part of it.
No idea.
So one of the biggest things that turned us on to matcha was that when you, it is delicious, but when you drink it, there's another adaptogen in matcha called L-theanine, and what that does is it controls the absorption of caffeine in your system.
Okay.
So when you
I
drink
feel
coffee,
like I take a pill right now for that.
You probably
Okay.
do.
I might. It might be
It
one of my
comes in
supplements.
pill
I think.
amazing.
I don't know. I think so. It sounds familiar. And I was
Yeah,
like, I
it gives
should
you
know
like
that
clean,
word.
consistent
probably should
energy.
know what
that.
pill
I
you're
should know
taking,
that
though.
word.
Yeah, but like we were relying on coffee so hard, and then I would just, and I like to take things to the extreme. So
Yeah, you do.
I would just drink way too much coffee, and I'd be like buzzing like crazy. And
That's George. George like literally has like 6 espressos in a day.
George is gonna really like matcha. Or
Does George drink
he's gonna
I don't know.
So what you can do is, so for some people who really like who love coffee, the taste of it and everything like that, if you actually, and we know what's so funny, we found a lot of people actually drink their coffee first and then they have their matcha second. But if you switch it, the L-theanine, which helps slow the absorption of caffeine, will actually help you slow the absorption of your coffee as well.
So I started doing that during COVID. I started waking up in the morning, making matcha in the morning, having that, and then in the afternoon, if I needed coffee,
right,
I'd make myself an espresso.
Ooh, so you're a big matcha person.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that why we're here?
Danny low-key set this whole thing
Yeah,
up.
I know.
She's like, I just wanted some matcha. Let's okay, so what else?
Like, I
so
don't even care about them.
what's the process of making matcha? So like not this, like actually making the powder.
Oh wait, so
you pull the tea leaves?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So the thing
Go
that
ahead.
I find most interesting about it is that basically the leaves on the bottom and the leaves on the top are not what you want. You need the leaves in the middle. So to basically machine it, they'll kind of grab all of the leaves off of it. So what you actually need is you need someone to physically hand pick the leaves, which is why it's so prized and like careful, and
Like
why it's also such an art. Because some people, like, to save money, they're like, you know what, these ones are also probably fine.
Yeah.
Like, just chuck them in the bag.
I just spit my accent. Can you pull a picture of what a matcha tree looks like? Plant?
So it's
I already did.
oh, you're so prepared.
Can we pull a picture of like one individual? I just want to see what it looks like.
So interesting. So matcha's also shaded. So this is probably very early in the
Yeah.
process as well.
It's about a month prior to harvest. They'll
Yeah.
shade it, and they'll start by shading it about 35%.
Okay.
And then
Google like shaded
what
matcha farm.
what this does is it causes
Shade
the leaves to grow very tenderly.
Okay.
So it's a specific process to make the tea leaves, specific for
Oh.
matcha making.
Click
Yeah.
the picture so it makes it bigger. This is educational for me too. I even Google does that.
And then this is done like over the winter and spring. Actually, I don't think they shade it during the winter, but it's
So
usually during the
that's like a leaf.
So it's a Camilla sinensis leaf. I could be mispronouncing that.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, I just said I might be mispronouncing
Well,
it.
you're gonna pronounce it better than I could pronounce
Camilla
it.
sinensis. So that's the green tea leaf.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I actually used to work at David's Tea a really long time ago for one Christmas holiday. But if I remember correctly, it makes green tea, white tea, and matcha, and I think pu'er.
I didn't even know there was a
and
white tea.
Oolong. No, not oolong. Okay, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass now. Okay. But it definitely makes green tea. So this is basically exactly what green tea is. If someone that has no idea what matcha is, I just call it's green tea espresso. However you drink.
Okay, that's cool.
However
yeah.
you drink your coffee, that's how you would drink your matcha. If you have a
Okay.
shot of espresso, just
your
have your matcha
drip
straight.
coffee would be like your green tea bag.
Right.
Right. You're steeping it. You're not actually ingesting the leaf, and then your espresso shot of matcha. It's like you're grinding up the tea leaf and you're ingesting the whole thing, so you're getting all the nutrients that are in it.
Okay.
and it has like a crazy amount of antioxidants in it as well. So
It's got the most antioxidants of anything, like any superfood.
Really?
Yeah.
The most.
I didn't know that. So once they pluck the leaves, you blend it, or do you add things? How I see the blenders.
So once they pluck the leaf,
Not blenders, whatever they're called. What do
They,
you call those, Danny?
No clue, but you're just
these
butchering
should
it
be
all.
stone grinders. I don't have my glasses on, and it's possible that they're using like a different
Yeah, this
method.
is like just like some
Right.
random thing I found.
because
This is
like
not-
I said, all of these steps that proper matcha takes, you can easily cheat and make it cheaper and make it worse.
Yeah,
And that's what you guys are obviously
like
trying
you
to
can use
solve.
a blender. Blenders will introduce heat. It'll degrade the nutrients.
Okay.
So you want to pick the matcha plant at the peak of its nutrient like retention, like at the right time when it's been growing and storing all these nutrients over the winter, and then you want to preserve all that. So then you want to air dry it gently. You don't want to use like some kind of like industrial
source or
heat
something,
process. And then they're going to flash, like just really gently steam it quickly to kind of prevent any oxidization.
Okay.
And then put it in a cold storage for stone grinding. So the stone milling is just like it's a traditional process where it's very laborious and time consuming, but it gives you the highest quality and finest
So that's
powder.
kind of like how a lot of wine things are done too, right? It's kind of similar process, but just obviously not grapes, matcha leaves, but it's the same kind of idea. You store it, you let them wait, and then once it's ready, you grind it down to a powder format. Do they add anything to it?
So we don't add anything to ours. It's all organic. It's also from the first harvest. So You can harvest it at different times of the year, but the first harvest is when there's the most nutrients. It's when it's the freshest. It's where you get the best matcha. So the highest grade of matcha is called ceremonial matcha, and that's what we sell.
Oh, okay. So what are the grade? Like, is it levels? Is it grades? How does it work?
Yeah, generally it's used pretty loosely, but like they'll separate it from ceremonial matcha and culinary matcha. Yeah,
Okay.
so like a ceremonial matcha, it'll taste great on its own. You don't have to add any sweeteners or any milk or anything like that to
Well,
it.
what do
can
you
just
guys
drink
need?
it.
You can't have any matcha.
Why?
We need a bowl
Why do we need a bowl?
to whisk it.
Oh,
We
what about these
we can
mugs?
whisk it in a cup.
What about that mug? Is
I
that
mean, we
mug?
could.
We could.
Here, we got this. Is big enough.
No, listen.
I'm glad you decided that.
We just have to clean that up because it's been there for a while.
We're gonna make it work.
Yeah, I want to try this. This is. I'm definitely. I'm a matcha guy now. Now that we're talking about it so much, you can't like.
I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you've never had it.
I've never had matcha.
Amazing.
So like I know about it obviously because of this, and I've heard the name, and maybe call me old school, but I love the idea of like not herbal medicine and stuff like that, but I like the idea of like antigens and like superfoods and trying to be healthy and like those little things that you can do to change your
Absolutely.
physical and your mental wellness. Because like, even my mom's super big on this. My mom, like, she's Brazilian, and a lot of Brazilians are big into like voodoo and shit like that. But my mom, if you tell her one thing about, I don't know, let's call it, she'll see a video on TikTok of, honey lemon tea that has, I don't know, crushed up blueberries in it, and they'll put a random stat. Me and my mom will drink crushed up berries with honey lemon tea for like 3 months. Like, I drink chicken broth once. I used to drink chicken broth daily because my mom said it was good for me and because of X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. And I don't even ask questions. I just drink it because I'm like, I don't mind the taste. It's just I know it's good for me and I kind of like it. It's warm. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'll literally put it in that shaker cup on my way to work, and I just...
Oh, that's what we could use, a shaker cup.
How did the chicken broth affect you? Was it good?
Perfect.
What I liked about chicken broth is that it helps... Again, I don't know if this is fact or if this is just what Elaine told me, but it helps like clean out your systems. And I do feel good about it. And like even beef broth, someone told me, is like really good for you, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys need oh, there we go.
Yeah, like bone broth and things
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, exactly. So it's chicken bone broth and beef bone broth.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like the idea of like doing things that are little minor changes to your life that can add like maybe minor, even mediocre, or even big changes on your like physical and health. Because yeah, it's just like a little thing. If I can substitute this for my coffee or my espresso daily, or I have one espresso daily usually. If I can substitute that as like my afternoon kind of boost, why not? If it's healthy, it's like good for you and it's gonna make you feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. What else? You good over there, girls?
No, we were just like we were gonna use your shaker cup, but we were just sniffing it. It smells
can we
kind of
show-
fruity.
Oh yeah.
Can we show Ricky the powder?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
you
looked
see it?
inside. It's green.
Yeah, so the color is really important. Like once it oxidizes, matcha turns yellow or brown. So if it's really fresh, it's going to be vibrant, almost like a wow, I can't believe it's that green.
And so obviously there's no added. You said it's
There's
all
nothing
organic,
added.
yeah.
It's just,
Can I lick it and try it? Or
Daniel does that all the time. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Is it weird?
Well, I guess for you two, it's not. Go
It's
for
not
it.
weird. Oh yeah, it is really green. It's like Hulk green. That's good, right? Yeah.
It's very good.
Like neon green.
I'm trying to figure out what it tastes like, but I can't really put a. I guess it tastes like matcha. Dan, you know what it tastes like.
Yeah, no.
What's the most comparable taste to it? What would you say? I can't really think about it.
That's a great question. Are you Googling it? Like what?
Okay,
does
so let's
matcha
do
taste?
this.
It
So-
tastes like earthy and it tastes green. It's hard to explain. I think
It tastes
I
green.
think it's like naturally sweet.
Yeah.
It's definitely sweet. It's not bitter at all.
Well,
It's
I
definitely
think
sweet.
I think
So,
that there
like,
can be some
Yeah,
bitterness
some
to
matchas
other
can
matcha
be a
brands.
little astringent.
Okay, I'm
little
currently
bitter.
soaking the whisk. So with
Okay.
the
What's
bamboo
the
process,
whisk,
Rick?
you want
Okay,
to,
yeah. Tell us the process, because this is your guys' stuff. Tell us how it
He's
works.
getting
How do
ahead
we
of
do it?
himself right now.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, I just want to try the
like
matcha.
putting it on.
Okay, so typical. Do you normally have it morning, afternoon, night?
I
All three?
I look forward to it first thing in the morning. It's like I wake up and I'm like, I need my matcha. It
Okay.
really gets me in a good mood.
Okay.
It gives me like it wakes me up too, and I feel a lot sharper and more focused.
And is there caffeine in matcha or no? It just there is caffeine. What is matcha like? What makes
green
it?
tea? Green
Okay,
tea
but,
leaves.
okay. So
Same
what is
thing.
green tea leaves? Like
Camille
what?
Sinisa sleeps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
What like if? What are the ingredients that make up green tea leaves? Do you guys know?
I'd
see,
say
like I said,
just
I feel
green
like
tea
you're
leaf.
getting into trivia questions at this point.
I'm so curious.
A plant.
Okay,
So what makes up an apple? It grows out of the ground.
No,
and they're the
there's
tree.
No, but there's like vitamins and like shit that makes up the apple.
Yeah,
like
so there's
vitamin
different
whatever.
ingredients.
So
probably-
there's chlorophyll in matcha.
Okay, chlorophyll I know is good for you because I used to take chlorophyll.
There are polyphenols. There's antioxidants. There
are vitamins
Most
in
of them are the ECGs.
Yep. ECGs.
Yeah, and those are supposed to be really good for heart health,
Okay.
cardiovascular health. What else is in matcha? Madison?
Why are you asking me?
Because you should know.
I'm making the matcha.
She's making. Okay, so you have it in the morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever you want. Oh, do you have it at night? Because like a lot of people don't have coffee at night.
Yeah, you
So-
absolutely can. I mean, like I think both of us are kind of caffeine sensitive, so I don't think personally we would have
Yeah,
matcha.
I'm very caffeine sensitive. Like when I first started drinking coffee, it did not sit well with me at all. But eventually, I got used to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can have it at night and still sleep.
Oh yeah, I mean like the same that you would like if you can have an espresso at night, you can easily have a matcha.
I personally prefer not to drink it too late, just because. Yeah, I don't know.
If I don't sleep tonight, guys, it's like 9 o'clock right now. If I don't sleep,
Would you have an
guys
espresso right now after dinner?
No, but I'm. Well, see, but after dinner's, it's like
Yeah, I
like
know,
for
I
me,
agree.
espresso is like a social thing.
But like, how many times do we come to this podcast and have an espresso before an episode or around
That's
this
true.
time? All the time. You're like,
well,
gonna
Danny,
be
we'll go
fine.
for a walk after. Danny's like, no, we're not.
If I did have to have caffeine after, like late in the day though, I would prefer matcha because it's
Okay.
just
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. I feel like it doesn't inhibit your sleep as much.
No.
This might be a random question, but you know, how, like sometimes coffee or espressos make you go to the bathroom. Does matcha do that?
Like not
as much.
Okay.
Not as
which was
urgently.
like it was so strange. Was it yesterday? I
Not
had a
as
coffee.
urgent. Not as,
we
not as
went
aggressively.
we went and had coffee yesterday, right, in the morning, and then like
Oh yeah, that's
that
right.
got
for
my
our
things
date
moving
morning.
like quickly, and I don't think I mentioned it to you, but I was like, oh, I forgot, you know.
Well, and where'd you guys come up with the name?
The name really encapsulates like our approach to the branding.
Okay.
So
Branding's
you
great, by the
know,
way.
We wanted
you.
people to know what it was, so matcha. But we also wanted it like a lot of matcha brands we found, or just the idea of matcha seemed very like exclusive, you know, and very ultra luxury, ultra premium, and
Complicated.
kind of unapproachable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the dive part came from us being like, you know, I was like Madison because I was trying to organize everything and like write out our business
And make it
plan.
perfect.
and yeah, and kind of like, you know, what, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
He's like, what's the
so I was
perfect
like-
word
I
to
was like-
describe
I was
this
like-
feeling?
And Madison's our creative director and our art director. So I was like, Madison, like, help me out. Give me some, you know, concepts. What do you want? She's like, well, I want it to, you know, be like, you know, you're having matcha with your best friend. You know, I want you to be able to like have a conversation over it and like have it be really approachable, right? So we thought of the word dive being like a dive bar somewhere, you know, you congregate. It's very low key. Like it's, you don't go there and it's, you know, like you could just be yourself at a dive bar.
That's fair.
Right? And then there's the other connotation of like diving into something refreshing.
Okay, because that's what I was thinking, like diving into something, like, you know, like diving into something new, trying like switching over from coffee, dive in. You know,
I mean,
both
we
feet.
like the double meaning.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, I don't
Yeah.
think most people think of the dive bar aspect as the first part, but that was like the first part of
Okay,
it.
that's
for
like
us.
the first thing I thought of.
Really, dive
Really?
bar?
Yeah, that's the
Love
first thing I
that.
thought of. So like, I
You're
like that
so
you guys said
aligned
that.
on our brand.
Yeah,
I love
know.
it.
I love that.
And then, like, I think it was, 2 years later, we are like, oh, crap. This is, like, Matcha Dive is actually our initials. Like, Madison
Oh
and
yeah,
Daniel.
oh yeah. I actually forgot about that.
Ah, MD. That is
So
good.
there's a
By the way,
bonus
these
there
little
for
weird
us.
sounds you
Did-
hear is like me trying to whisk in a cup. Which this should take like 3 sets. Like it's usually very quick. This is pretty hard to do in a small little cup.
Why do you do it in a big cup?
You
Like
do it in
a
like
bowl.
a big,
You do it in
like
a bowl with a flat bottom.
so that you can get the air into it. You know what I mean? So like right now, trying to like get the
Yeah,
whisk back and forth.
okay. So there's two things that I usually try to do when I whisk the matcha, or if I shake it. Like
know what he's thinking.
a lot of people think that you have to whisk it, but when I'm in a hurry, I just shake it up in an airtight container.
Like a
So
shaker
like
bottle.
a shaker bottle, okay.
Yeah, but with the whisk,
And sorry, do you always drink it? Can you drink it cold, or it's always got to be hot?
I however
usually
you would
drink it
drink
cold,
it. Like
yeah.
that's another thing. However you would drink your espresso, that's how you do it.
I do
Latte,
hot.
iced coffee.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Iced coffees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drink
Cappuccino.
espresso, so little shots.
okay.
But I can do a little shot of this if I
Yeah,
want.
but
Exactly.
shots are usually hot, right? 'Cause,
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
All right. Usually
Okay,
we
so
have,
there's
like,
two
a nice
ways. You
crema
said
on this,
there's
but-
two ways to whisk it.
There's many ways to get it how you want. I mean,
Yeah.
you could get super creative with it, right? But
Okay.
there's two things that I generally try to do when I whisk the matcha. And the first is I'm trying to make it a smooth consistency, because it starts as a powder, right? And you don't want clumps in your drink.
Yeah,
and
yeah, no,
you don't want to feel like, you just want to feel like you're drinking a liquid, not like there's any kind of powder left over. So the first part of whisking is just making it smooth and, a nice smooth consistency. And then the second part of it is introducing oxygen. And whisking it back and forth, what that does is it develops a crema on top.
Why do you have to introduce oxygen?
So introducing oxygen puts all these micro bubbles into the matcha. I want to say
like the foam on the top
activates
of your
it,
espresso.
but it
Yeah.
just makes it nice and creamy. It gives it this beautiful like foamy consistency. So it's like the
Yeah, it
crema
makes sense.
on your
Yeah,
espresso.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so
Okay, so in a bowl, like a cereal bowl, or what kind of bowl? I'm just trying to think about how I can do this on a daily basis now.
yeah,
Because I think I'm going to be like you. I think I'm going to do just like a shaker cup, because that's me.
yeah, and that's quick.
It's quick
and
and
you can
easy,
just
right?
take it with you when you're
Yeah,
done.
that's exactly what I do. Like every morning I have my pre-workout in the car, or like whatever. I could
Yeah.
easily just do this, like pour a hot cup. I keep the matcha in my car.
Yeah. And you can add stuff to it. You could add collagen.
And we
to
said
it.
it's
You
one
could add
teaspoon.
protein to it.
Oh yeah, because there's matcha protein. Is there protein in matcha?
There's very little.
Very little?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just trying to like push everything you can into this protein, vitamin.
I'm just so curious, right? I'm like, okay, like this is going to be part of my morning routine now. I'll leave it in the... Do you start at hot temperatures, cold temperatures, room temperature?
So the powder, it's really fine, and like it can be a very delicate thing. You want to preserve it as best as possible. So the best way to do that is to keep it cold.
Okay.
Like
fridge cold or-
temperatures, because the heat will degrade it. And then because of the chlorophyll in it, you also want to keep it away from light and moisture.
Okay.
So what we like to do is just put it in the freezer.
Freezer.
Yeah. It preserves it really well for long-term storage if you're not getting it through.
Also, it's a
quickly.
little amount. It's not like a coffee size, right?
Well, you can make it a coffee
Did you
size.
shake it
Like
already,
they said,
or-
whatever you want.
No, I didn't shake. I was gonna let him shake it.
I have a question for you both. What's your favorite way to drink matcha?
Iced matcha latte.
Ice? Like, do you put it water? Do you put like almond milk, regular milk?
I make like my little like bit of matcha, add some water, add my oat milk. I usually don't add ice. I don't know why, but I don't. And then I just drink it like
Maybe
that.
because we don't have an ice maker.
I just don't like ice. It just gets in the way.
That's fair. Okay.
All right, let's try it.
I want to put a little bit more.
Is it
No.
ready?
More matcha or more water?
I was
Did
gonna
you
put more
did
water.
you add oat milk or?
Make it like
no,
a coffee.
he said he wanted like a shot.
Okay.
Okay.
No, how do you drink your coffee? If I give you a cup of coffee
He
right
doesn't
now,
drink
how'd
I
you-
don't
He only
drink
drinks
coffee.
espresso.
I only drink espresso.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, like, I used to only drink Americanos and shots and all my coffee dark, but Madison's really gotten me indulging now in these like creamy, delicious matcha lattes.
It is nice and green. This is like it's Hulk green, I guess. What else is Hulk green?
Hulk green. That's the color.
I don't.
Moment of truth. It is good. It's greeny. Like I don't know. I don't understand how else to explain it.
I know.
Greeny.
I remember Googling like, I remember
How would you
looking-
describe
someone
the
asked,
taste?
What does matcha taste like? And then I went to go answer because it was like on a forum or something. I went to go answer, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't know. And all the answers were like, it tastes earthy and green.
Well, I know how like I described it when we first had it, and compared to other matchas we've had, and I
That's
always
compared
thought
to
that it
other
was like
matchas.
very balanced and very clean, and smooth.
Right. That's true.
Definitely smooth, yeah.
But how would you describe it, like the taste to someone who's never had any matcha?
So according to Google, Google says that the first sip of matcha tastes like the first bite of dark chocolate or red wine, which
Ooh.
I don't
Okay.
understand. I find it's like a greener version of that, like the bitterness they're talking about or something.
I don't find
Green
it bitter
chocolate.
though.
Huh?
Green chocolate.
Yeah, I just read that and I was like, I don't see it. But like the earthy maybiness of a red wine.
I kind of know that what they're talking about a little bit, because like right when you have that sip, there's that kind of like not fuzzy, but that feeling that kind of washes over your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to explain, like that dark chocolate or
Yeah,
that wine
it is
kind of
really hard
feeling.
to explain.
Where it's what is it, tannins probably? I don't know.
Ooh, when was the first time you guys had matcha tea?
Probably when I went through that hardcore tea phase.
Yeah,
for some
and
reason.
Madison introduced me to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you just started? You got into it when you met her, I guess.
Yeah, she was
It's like
pushing
date
hard
number
for
2
this
or
stuff.
3.
She was like, "Oh my god, you got to try this," and then she really wanted to buy it from this one brand. It was like this boutique in the West Village, and it was quite expensive. But she convinced me. She's like, "You have to try. You have to do it." So we
And it
bought a big
changed our
bag, and it
lives.
was like, we were lucky that we started with that one because it was really good.
Okay.
Which is so funny. And then you went back to New York. He went back to New York and he went to like our old haunts. And he was like a bit nervous because he was like, well, how does our matcha measure up? And then he reported back and he's like, honestly, I think our matcha is actually better than the places that we were planning on trying to live up to. So
Wow,
it's pretty,
love that. And what's the price point like? So give me the cost of like going to a Starbucks-esque kind of place, like a
Okay.
franchise coffee store, and I'm getting a thing. Give me a little boutique coffee shop that you really like, that one that you had your specialty matcha at, and give me what you guys sell it for in home consumption.
Oh, actually, wait, I want to look up now how much the matcha lattes I was buying were in New York. I'm maybe a bit nervous to look
I
that
mean,
up.
I want to say they're like similarly priced to an espresso drink.
Yeah, they're like
Okay, so
$5,
like-
Or
$6.
maybe
$6.
$1 more sometimes, you know.
'Cause
Like
it's
Yeah.
healthier?
if an espresso was $6, like let's say a latte was $6, or a matcha latte might be $6.50.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Even now, like, you know, you go to whatever their latte is at, a matcha latte is $1 more usually.
Okay. And then at home, what's Matcha Dive cost per, how do you guys sell? You guys sell them in 30 packs, right? 30 and 100 packs?
Never
30
30
the-
gram
grams.
pouches,
30
30
grams.
gram tins, and 100 gram pouches.
Okay.
So a classic cup of matcha, especially like when you're getting a coffee, is but 1 gram.
Okay.
We like to double it up. So we usually have it two.
Matcha
Triple.
people.
Triple
You guys
it
are
up.
matcha people. I would hope so.
So for us, I would say that a 30-gram bag lasts us 15 cups. And
Okay. But for the average person, it would be roughly 30
cups.
cups,
So
30 days.
a 30-gram bag is
It's $36.
$36.
Okay, so a buck.
Or 35,
buck.
sorry. $35.
35.
So it's
just
about
over
a
a
buck.
buck, yeah.
Mhm.
And the 100 tin bag.
It's 93.
Okay, so just under and just over, depending. Okay, and then can you make it in like an espresso pod? Is that like in the works? And you guys?
I don't even think that's like functional. It would be functionally good because the espresso pods, what it does is like pushes the water through, right?
I think so.
The main part of matcha, especially like making it, is you want to get the oxygen in it. You want to get the air inside of it. So you really need
And
to
you
like
have
whisk
to
it.
get the powder like thoroughly mixed into the water. Not just steep,
Yeah.
not just like steep.
You're just looking for the ease.
the
You want it
grains.
like
No,
fast.
well, yeah, that is me. That is me.
I
But
broke my whisk like during COVID, and then I ended up having like one of those like electric
Oh, yeah.
throtters, but like mine was awful and it kept breaking. And then like
Oh,
I'm
no.
drinking my matcha and there's chunks everywhere.
Ugh.
Just did not taste the
Yeah,
same.
chunky matchas.
So then like I found like another solution. I was like, you know what, this is gonna do.
What
and
was
it
your other
great.
solution?
You know the Nespresso.
spoon.
No, the Nespresso
Yeah.
frothers. That
The
was
milk
great.
frother.
Yeah, the milk frother. I can't speak right now.
frother, yeah.
But that it just took longer.
Yeah, honestly, like
But-
that's what like a big part of it for me was, you know, if you look up how to make matcha, it's like, okay, well, you need this and this and this, and it needs to be this condition, it needs to be like this. At the end of the day, like that's all great and fine, but you can really just do it however it works. You can chuck it. Daniel puts it in a water bottle all the time, like an old water bottle. He'll
No,
just put matcha in.
it's like an airtight tumbler.
Well, yeah, you do
Yeah,
that too,
yeah.
but you also
Oh
like,
yeah, if I have like a water bottle from like the convenience store or something.
yeah.
You know, I'll drink like
do
half
that.
of it, and then I'll throw matcha in it, and then I'll shake it up.
and then just on the go.
Yeah. The only thing is, I've learned the hard way. Don't shake up hot matcha, because I think it's like the cooling gases will cause pressure to build up in the bottle.
And then when you open it, it's like
and it'll explode.
Yeah.
I've done it
all
before,
over
too.
you.
I knew that too, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't know that one. Yep. Well, I like this. I'm gonna start drinking matcha now. Dan, you drink it like consistently.
Yeah,
How have I never had matcha with you?
because I make it at home. You don't come over.
I've never been invited. Whatever. No, but we went to London together. Why didn't we have matcha in London?
I don't know. I go through phases.
Yeah.
But it's just like consistency, and I think it's because I haven't been able to find one here that I loved. So
Did you have some of
now
ours?
It's
Problem
like
solved.
After getting this message being like, oh, matcha company, like we'd love to get them on your podcast. I'm like, yes. Like
You're like, I'm not even learning more, even if
I'm
they're
like,
terrible people.
I
It's
am.
fine.
I'm learning more. I'm hearing fun stories and new matcha. I'm like, this is great.
I love that.
But yeah, it is really hard. It is really hard to find in Canada. I find.
Why do you? Why do you
It
find
was
that?
really
Good.
hard. Yes.
Yeah. And I found during the past couple of years, sometimes I'm seeing it here and there, but again, it's not always great tasting.
Right.
So
You still haven't had some of our matcha. You're like the matcha connoisseur.
I'll have some
Are you
soon.
scared to do it on camera or
No,
on?
I
She's
just
not on
I'm not
cameras.
gonna sit there and make you whisk again in that cup.
No, just
or
take
in the
some
shaker.
of his from his
Mine's
shaker.
done.
Shaker scares me.
You finished it?
I finished mine. Mine's
Oh, this
done.
shaker scares you.
I wanted to. So you guys, I think you guys just launched recently, right? In May, was it?
Yeah,
Yes.
at the end of May.
In the end of May. When did you guys start the process of it?
Like 2 years ago. Oh, so another thing is we put a big pause during, so right when we were about to start branding, COVID started.
Well, let me back up just a little bit. We moved internationally
Right.
from New York to Toronto in 2019. And then shortly after that, we got pregnant. And then
I like
shortly
that we
after
got
that,
pregnant, yeah.
we started our matcha brand. And then shortly after that, COVID started.
And then shortly after that, the convenience store,
Yes.
which is also still wild too. We'll get to what time are we even at?
Sorry.
Now we're 20.
Oh, so we're still okay. We're okay.
You know what's so funny? I think a lot of people are really upset when a guy says we got pregnant, but I put so much on him, and I was like, "Here, you just take half of it. Feed me whatever I want."
I didn't do anything.
You did a
You
lot.
did everything.
No, you did a lot. Anything I wanted, I was like late night poutine runs. All I could eat was okay. It's so funny. Before I got pregnant, I was like the healthiest person you've ever met, like ever. And then I was really ready. I had this book that told you the optimal thing to eat for every week because it was like, oh, you're making your eyeballs at 10 weeks, so you should be eating like omega-3 fatty. And I was like, perfect, because this is my jam. And then I got pregnant. All I could eat was bread or cheese, like dry flavored. Or I had this really huge. I never really liked Subway ever. But when I was pregnant, all I wanted was a big Subway sandwich with a ton of iceberg lettuce, olives, a crap ton of mayo, and an obscene, slutty amount of bacon. That's it. No anything else on that Subway sandwich.
It's an interesting Subway combo.
And then one time, I remember you actually told them I was pregnant, and he came back. They put an illegal amount of bacon on it. Because you pay your $150 for extra bacon, whatever. They definitely were not allowed to put.
Yeah.
she's
It's like
pregnant.
same Subway place. You went back to 3 times.
They were like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?"
With my when my mom was pregnant with me, I think the food that she was craving was Kit Kats.
Really?
So my dad every day on the way home from work would stop at the convenience store and buy Kit Kats.
Do you like Kit Kats?
Yeah, but they're not my favorite.
Well,
This is
okay, wait.
really
We
good.
actually have some special Kit Kat. Oh no, do we have them here?
We dropped them off earlier today.
So because we own a convenience store, we like to try and bring in really weird, rare candies, and we just imported from the States some key lime pie Kit Kats and some blueberry muffin Kit Kats,
Ooh,
which
blueberry.
are so good.
George would have gone crazy for key lime Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Don't tell George.
Okay, so-
He's the candy guy.
Obviously, you sell your matcha in your own convenience store. I would hope so. Yeah, obviously. And then it's sold online, I'm assuming. And
Yes.
Are we in any other stores other than the convenience store?
We are.
What stores?
So right
Yeah.
now we're in Cocoa Market. We're in both locations of Auntie's Supply, and we are in the Grateful Gift Shop in
Squamish.
in Squamish.
And Wine and Egg.
And Wine and Egg in
Los
LA.
Angeles.
As well as, are we allowed to talk about the other one in LA
We're not.
Okay,
We have a
we-
couple
nothing.
that are coming up that
Yeah.
we're really excited about.
that
That's
we're not
awesome.
allowed to talk about?
That's
But
fair, yeah.
but pretty big, so we're really
But they're
excited.
launching soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so like soon as in September, October.
One-
Because this will be released in like a week or 2 weeks.
Right. So, well, there's a
2 weeks.
couple.
One's slated for September 1st.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no, there's
we
three
can
slated
share
for
this
September
once it-
1st.
Yeah, three locations for September 1st.
But
Okay.
some are still.
Yeah, you're still working on things. Yeah, you're
some are still
on
working
in
on
the
things. 3 are definitely slated, and then that other one that I'm thinking of is I'm pretty sure is 100% slated because they have the product, but I feel like we're still not allowed to talk
But
about
yeah,
it.
they were originally launting in August, but they've pushed back to September as well.
Anyways, blah blah
Sorry.
blah. And it's so fun to talk about stuff you can't talk about, huh?
It is. What's like the rest of the year look like for you? Is it just more stores? Is it more, I guess, brand awareness? More transitioning people from coffee to matcha? Like, what's the goal
Well, I
of
think
this year?
we started off originally aiming for direct to consumer, and then as we got started, we realized that I think that there is still an education component to it that needs to happen before we can really lean hard into the direct to consumer approach. So we started to lean more into retail and kind of emboldened our retailers to, and honestly, they've been so amazing. They've been our biggest supporters, and they've been as excited as we have been, and they've been educating people on behalf of us. And so I feel like we started kind of leaning in more in that direction. It was really interesting to pivot. Well, also, so like I said, we got started during COVID. We held off branding until post dust settling. You know what I mean?
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, everything was so uncertain at that point. We're like, what's the future going to look like in 5 months?
Well, it was like the biggest thing for me was like
people going to be
it
spending
was called
money on-
coronavirus,
Yeah.
and then there was that beer brand named Corona, and I was like, what if we do something stupid like that? What if like something happens and we go brand in a certain way, and then it turns out to be like the worst possible direction?
Yeah,
So we just decided to hold off for
Fair.
a minute. But we found that in the direction we ended up taking, I felt like was really because of COVID. Like post-COVID, it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not post-COVID, but like post-lockdown.
Dust settling.
COVID, yeah.
I
Back
think
to
that
real life.
people just kind of looked around and were like, wait, why the hell isn't life more fun? Why is everything so boring all the time? So I think that was our biggest goal. It's like, how can we just bring more fun into this?
And I think that's something that's been really interesting, like starting a business, is that like we had our own creative vision to start, but it was really about where that met with the consumer. Like how do these two worlds meet, and what kind of benefit are you providing to the consumer, and it's like it's been an interesting like process, and we're constantly having to adapt.
Yeah, that's a big way to put it, like just adapting all the time. I mean, yeah, so then blah, blah, blah. We impulse purchased a church that we're renovating. And then blah, blah, blah. We impulse purchased a convenience store, essentially. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we're running Matcha Dive, launching it, learning to run a convenience store while managing. Oh, so the church didn't have a shower. We had to shower in a baptism tub.
It had a bunch of pews.
With a hose.
And a
Yeah,
baptism
it was like a proper
tub.
church.
I saw some pictures online. I was gonna ask you guys this question if you didn't bring it up, because I was just so curious. I'm like hearing about like your like woodworking skills and everything going on. Then you guys went to church and like on the middle of nowhere. Why'd you guys pick Paisley, Ontario?
We were originally looking Kincardine. My family.
Well, the country. Remember, she wants to be in the
No, I
country.
didn't want to move.
Didn't want to be.
country.
He wanted to be in
No,
the
I
country.
want it. Yeah.
But
He wanted to be in the country.
I was absolutely. But the thing is we were living in the city, and then like that weird part of lockdown where you're spending $1 gajillion in rent, and you're like, well, what's the point? We don't actually live in the city. We live in this apartment that's located somewhere. We're not really benefiting.
buy a
from
church.
living- Yeah, no. We were like, let's just buy. I told him, I was
Well-
like, I'm never gonna want to live in the country at any other point in my life. So if you want to move to the country, let's go
Let's
right
do it
now.
And I like never looked back. I'm like, let's go.
All right, done. I got a spot.
Yeah.
You want to see it? She's like, I just said yes like 30 seconds. How do you have a spot? Or, I've been waiting, don't worry. He's
No.
like, yeah, remember last time you said that? You can't get in trouble with me this time.
What about you guys? Are you guys like city, country?
I'm the
City.
definition of a city boy.
Okay,
I
yeah.
will be in the city as long as I can. I'll probably be in New York too if I can at some point in my life.
Really?
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
gonna leave me?
Do it up.
if I can.
You're gonna leave me one day, Daddy?
I need a visa. I need to find an American.
Yeah, I know. Just find an American to marry.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm city till I die. Not till I die, but I'm a big city guy.
But that's what I said too.
I just like the idea of like walking outside and seeing people. I'm like a extrovert. I love to be around people. I love meeting new people. I love just like people watching in general.
It's so funny. I'm an introvert, and I find for the same reason I find it comforting. I really hate walking outside and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me feel so uncomfortable because if there's one person there, that's scary. But when there's 30, it's like fine.
Yeah, like my parents live up in Vaughan, and they kind of live like there's not many houses around them. Like you see people when you go for walks, but not really. But I feel like there's less opportunity out there. Like every morning I wake up downtown, I walk outside my condo, I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen on this walk, but I'm so excited. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know what you're going to see. Like, a lot of times it's just like crazy homeless people, but fuck, sometimes you're like, yo, I just, one time I went for a walk, I think it was with you or George, and like we witnessed this homeless guy and girl throw like a full Tim Hortons coffee at the subway, and we're like, what the fuck just happened? Like full coffee splattered all over the inside of like the bus, and we're like, that's wild. Then one day I'm like, maybe I'm going to see Adam Sandler walking through Yorkville one day. You never know.
Actually, apparently he's in Southern Ontario, so we have more of a chance of seeing him than you, huh?
He's moving around now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Because he was in Yorkville last week.
He was in Yorkville. He was in Oakville.
Yeah,
he's even in Oakville.
I know he's making his way over to us.
He's making his way around Ontario at least.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess we're starting to wrap up. What's like the next big adventure for you? Obviously, Matcha Dive is like front and foremost. We got the church reno. We have the convenience store.
Do you have a shower yet?
Yes.
Okay.
We moved into one of the apartments above the convenience store.
We just got laundry after like a year.
Yeah, that was great. We smell really nice now.
Well, wait, what were you guys doing laundry for? A laundromat?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to answer your question, our big plan with we were branding the convenience store with this amazing guy. It was actually so funny. We saw the branding for this random coffee roaster in Thornbury, and it was so cool. And then I looked into the branding, and like I really wanted their tables. That's right. I wanted to see and you know how sometimes at the beginning when people start doing their Instagrams, they tag everyone who was involved. So I scrolled all the way down, and they tagged like their branding guy. So I looked at him, and then he also branded a place in Collingwood, which was so cool, Later Pizza in Collingwood. And then I saw that he also designed a water bottle, and Daniel and I were like the first two people who bought this water bottle. Yeah. And then he also lived in Toronto, but he's like from the Grey Bruce area. So I was like, we weren't even really planning on branding, but I saw that and I was like, this feels like fate. So I just reached out to him, and he's pretty busy, but he ended up, so we're just finishing up branding. We're planning on opening a couple of different locations for the convenience store, and then eventually franchising.
I never thought owning a convenience store would be so fun.
It's so fun.
Really?
Well, my passions
are you saying that because you own it, or
foods.
you actually believe owning a convenience store?
No, she loves bringing in like new innovations.
Yes, they're called innovations. So that's what like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So when they have something new, they call them innovations. So we love bringing in what are now called innovations.
Yeah,
they're just like specialty items from like the States or something.
Specialty items from the States, weird stuff. And it's so interesting. Like we brought in a bunch of river snail noodles, which got really popular in China during COVID. And I was like, we can bring them in because they look really cool. I don't know how many people are going to buy them. Sold out immediately.
Yeah, they're so adventurous with their taste buds.
So wait, your convenience store is like a hot spot. Like people go there and like,
it will be.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like you see, there's all these like, I guess, innovative snacks shops opening up everywhere now. Like there's one just outside my condo. It's called I don't know, Dank Mart or something. I think it's like geared towards
Trap
like
Mart?
stoner. Trap Mart.
Yes.
There's a Dank Mart too.
There's a Dank Mart. I know. I feel like it's like geared towards like stoners. It's all like specialty candies and stuff. But is that like what you guys are trying to do, or do you like still sell like milk and shit too?
So it's really interesting. We were talking about extrapolating, like how would you take that business model and then bring it to all these different markets? How would it work? So we talked about kind of breaking everything down and then doing like what is it called? Like
this was all Madison's idea, actually. I'm really proud of her for like coming up with these, because like usually I think she's more the creative and I'm more the business minded, but she came up with like this great system for what did you call them? The different like kind of a modular system for your convenience store, saying you could have the snack section and what were you calling them?
So yeah, I think there were like different modules. So like let's say that we have our location which has a lot of like fishers. So you would have your fishing core, potentially fishing extended, outdoor section, outdoor core, outdoor extended, candy core, and then like let's say that you're in kind of like downtown King Street. Obviously, none of the fishing stuff, none of the camping stuff, but you would have like candy extended, obviously, and then candy innovations, candy I think we're also calling it candy or like the makers section. So we have a lot of small makers. Sorry, so this is probably like the boring part, but basically
Well, it's okay.
like
We're
so
I'm
modular
curious,
so that wherever your location is, you can really like Lego build so it's called Soggy's Stop and Shop.
Okay.
Soggy is the mythical creature who lives in the Saugeen River. So
I didn't know that.
now you know.
Yeah, and you asked earlier why this, like, you know, this place, but this place is beautiful. It's charming. It's like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
There's two rivers that converge, and our church is right there on the river.
Which, to bring it full
You
circle,
love your church. You love the country. You're so happy.
to bring it full
I
circle,
feel like he's the type of guy that wakes up in the morning, like grabs the baby, or not baby anymore, but like the toddler, sits out there with a book and just reads.
I wish.
Yeah?
That would be like my dream. And our dog, too.
Oh,
Sitting
what kind
out
of
there
dog you have?
staring at the river like, oh, this is so calming.
That's what you would love to do. What actually happens is we wake up, we lay on our sides while we spoon him while we put on Moana, which is his favorite right now, and try and catch like 45 more minutes of sleep. Sorry, was I not supposed to admit that?
No, it's fine. It's what we do.
Hey, you have to be realistic.
But now he's in daycare, so we have to like drag ourselves up and cook for him before we like just shove him at like daycare while we work for 6 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours. Yeah, I guess it is like 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get so little done in 10 hours?
I feel the same way. Some days, like I look at my to-do list, I'm like, I got so much done, and I literally didn't scratch a single thing off my to-do list.
Yeah. What is that? Oh my god.
Never-ending work.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
just like you're
But then
always
there's
pushing,
vacation
right?
times, right? Oh,
Yeah.
have you guys taken a vacation recently?
I actually can't remember. Have we?
We've traveled for work, and we've kind of like tried to enjoy that, but like since
So our honeymoon was our last
our
like proper
honeymoon?
vacation.
So that was what 2019
2019. No, the baby was 2020.
Yeah, the baby was 2020.
Wedding
I was like
was
pregnant
2017.
2019.
2019. Oh yeah, it was like December of 2018.
And then we were supposed to go
guys,
to
your timelines are wrong because you met in 2014. You got married 2 years later, so
Yeah.
something's not adding
No,
up.
we got
here.
married in 2017.
17. So I was right the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been
January.
listening.
Unlike us. I'm like, I don't know.
Wait, was that
At
the
one point,
courthouse wedding?
It's
Or was
like
that
that
trivia
was the
all
courthouse.
over
That
your
was the
life right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
he's like all full of matcha trivia and Madison and Daniel trivia. But I was gonna say earlier, to bring it full circle, the one thing we loved about the town is that it like these two rivers converged, and we were like, that's us. Like we're the two rivers who converge, and like that's why we live in Paisley.
I love that.
And then actually, no, here's a really weird fact. Okay, so we bought the church. So we kind of like, we were looking in Kincardine for a house. They were all crazy expensive. The church was like...
This was during like the Toronto real estate boom, right?
Right.
During the pandemic.
And then the church was like nothing comparatively. It wasn't like, it was like 200,000. So it's not like nothing. But compared to everything else, it was like...
well, you got a whole
basically
church
free.
for the price of like a third of a studio
Parking
condo.
spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
So we were like, okay,
And
whatever.
we didn't
I don't
want
care.
a project, but we couldn't pass that up.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. So...
And you must feel safe. Are you guys Christian at all?
No.
No.
But you know what? So the congregation has moved to a different church. So I think that, like, I am spiritual, so I do think that they're like they brought it with them to the next church.
Even if they didn't, at least you feel good knowing that like you're not like a devil worshiping place or a former devil.
No, but I
worshiping
expected there to be kind of like a...
as long as just no one shows up to your house at like 9 a.m. on a Sunday knocking on the door. Hey, Father, can you help me out here? Like, as long as you don't get one of those.
We actually do get some people. They're like, "This is my old church," and they're kind of like imply that they want to like come in and like look around. You haven't gotten that yet?
No, you haven't told me either.
No, we had a guy call the other day. Remember, he called and he was like, he wanted to tell us all about the church and he wanted to like look around.
I don't remember.
But
this at all.
anyways, so the day that we closed on, the day that we put the offer in on the church was the day that Saturn and Jupiter converged in the sky. This is not on purpose. Just happened, just happened to be. And then so the other thing is Daniel had watched a masterclass with Kelly Wersler, and she talked about how when you design a space, it's great to have a story. So Daniel came up with this story of like the two rivers and him and I converging, us being total opposites converging, and the theme of the church would be duality, like the balance of us. So the day that we put the offer in on the church was the day that Saturn and Jupiter converged in the sky. And it turns out that Saturn and Jupiter represent our horoscope signs. So like, I just think that's
a pretty
such
crazy story.
Okay, look up like which one is that? I keep forgetting what's like which one's
Saturn is Capricorn.
and
That's
I'm Sagittarius, and we're also considered like astrologically opposites. We're not supposed to be a good match at all.
No.
Do you guys believe in horoscopes?
I absolutely do. I have like a running
what are you?
theory
What
on
do you think
it.
I am?
Wait,
Well,
no,
you're an
no.
extroverted sign.
Okay,
Go-
here's
go
another
for it.
thing.
Madison's
I feel like
pretty
I'm
good.
only. No, I feel like
I
I'm
gave
only
you guys
really
a
good
hint
at.
earlier.
You're like an
I gave
Aries.
you guys a hint.
Oh, your
earlier.
birthday's like coming up.
Caught on?
So September, August, September is
I feel like I'm only good at getting.
Virgo. Yeah,
You got
You
it.
guessed by date.
cool.
People
wouldn't
say I'm
have
not
guessed
actually
Virgo.
Virgo. I think people say I'm a Scorpio.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
My mom and my brother are Scorpios, and I'm identical to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But me and my dad are both Virgos, and my brother's identical to my dad.
What's your moon sign?
Oh, fuck if I know.
Is it a Scorpio? Because that could.
I have no
say a
idea.
lot.
No, I'm not. Some girl did it once. She told me all my signs, and I like the idea of people believing in things. I don't believe in horoscopes, but I believe in a dude that might have been made up 2,000 years ago. So
Yeah.
who am I to tell people to not believe in the stars and the moon when those are actual things that you can see? And I believe in a dude that, rose up from the dead and flew
Yeah.
into heaven. So I had a conversation with this. Although I don't believe in horoscopes, I love the idea of believing in something. 'Cause
Yeah.
What's it to believe in something? As long as you don't believe in anything bad like Satanism, okay, yeah, then I don't agree with that. But if you
Yeah.
believe in like you're a good person because you were born on this day and the stars and the moon aligned on this day, I'm all for it. I just don't believe in it, but I don't hate on people that do.
I like that.
I've noticed that like some people tend to really hate when someone like has a passing belief in astrology.
I think it's funny. Like I think it's funny, and I enjoy poking fun at it.
Yeah, poking fun is fun, but some people get like really upset about it.
Yeah, and I
Like-
think again, you love horoscopes and you believe in it, and that's your what's it to me?
I
Literally
don't know if I
it
believe
has
in
no negative effect on my life
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
It's not like you're treating me differently because I'm a Virgo instead of a Capricorn or something. No, you
That's
treat
true.
people as
Right.
based on how they treat you
That's
and how
not true at all.
how you
I
are.
treat Scorpios really poorly.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm
I
just
was gonna say okay, fine, then I got a problem. No, but that's it, right? Like I believe in something just like everybody believes in something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for Ricky likes to mess around with girls sometimes when it comes to astrology.
Oh yeah, I told this story on the podcast once. Someone asked me once, like, "What's your sign?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a Sagittarius." I'm like, "Oh, you're Sagittarius?" I was like, "No, I'm actually a Scorpio." It's like, "Oh, you're totally a Scorpio. That's what Scorpios would do." I'm like, "I'm actually a fucking Virgo. Like, get out of here." And and shockingly, so many dates I've been on, women always ask. It's like it's probably the biggest question I get. I like asking a lot of questions on dates. I just think it's the best way to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
And if you're taking the time out of your, let's say Friday night, to hang out with me for 3 or 4 hours, I want to get the most out of my time with you. I want to know the most I can get out of these 3 or 4 hours. So I will ask a million questions. Like if you thought I asked a lot of questions on a date, I'm just like almost rapid fire. Some dates, women don't even ask me back, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have something back, but whatever. I'll just keep asking because I don't care. I want to get to meet these people. And the one question that gets asked on almost every single date is, "What's your sign?"
And you know what the male equivalent of that is, right? The one
Wait, let me
the
ask.
one that girls always get asked.
What?
Wait, we're gonna guess. We're gonna guess. You can guess too. Me and you can guess.
The girl. Okay.
I don't know. What's one place you'd love to travel to?
That's a good question.
I don't know. What is it?
It's what's your Myers-Briggs type?
Your what?
Who brings that up?
What?
What?
I've never heard that
What?
either.
What? I'm actually shocked. You don't get asked that by guys all the time?
What's your what?
Myers-Briggs type.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what that is either.
You know what that is, right?
That's
I
how
know what
long
it
you've been
is,
in a
but
relationship for.
like
I find that
yeah, I know, maybe I'm dating.
Yeah. It's been so long since you've been on a first date where it's like,
Okay, actually, let me age myself. I remember when I
how old are you? You're probably like my age, no?
How old are you?
wait, guess, because they're
Yeah.
pretty
Well, Asian
different.
people are very tough to guess, right? I'm gonna. All right, wait. Give me your age difference.
10 years.
You guys are 10 years apart.
Yeah. I
That
thought
is
she was
fucking-
5 years older.
I
when
thought
met
he
her.
was
She-
5
she
years
thought
younger.
I was 5 years younger.
Well,
so
no, there we go.
We thought we were the same
you
age.
still have to guess.
So wait, you're older than him?
No, he's older
Oh,
than me.
I was gonna say yeah. I'm gonna guess well, let's do some math actually.
But I also
You
have like
guys-
a toddler, you know, like
Well, the toddler doesn't change anything. So 2014, you were in New York living by yourself when you met him. So you were probably around.
Again, they were also models.
Yeah, so I'm going to say you were born in 95, and I'm going to
Okay.
say you were born in 85.
that's pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah.
At 92.
In 83.
Okay.
Yeah. How about
See,
you?
Asian people, you can't fucking tell.
No, everyone's
I would have
always
guessed he was
shocked
literally
when he's
like 30.
Yeah, I know.
literally
He's
30.
39.
Before we had
You're almost
Jun,
40.
Before we had Jun, people always thought I was in my 20s or like, you know, teens or something. But
You could literally still pass for like
no,
25. Like Asian people are just crazy. It's just like
Yeah,
they
you could just lie.
don't age.
Can't lie.
It's like Pharrell. You know the joke about Pharrell? There's
Oh,
like a
yeah, yeah.
vampire because he's like fucking 50 or something now.
And Keanu
50?
Reeves as
Keanu
well.
Reeves too, same thing. But Keanu Reeves, you see, is like
Yeah, he's got like smart laugh
yeah,
lines.
he's like aging a bit.
Yeah.
Pharrell like just doesn't age.
Although, did you hear? Okay, I had never watched Hannah Montana. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the age of the brother in the show.
He was, I think,
He's
30
like in
something.
his 30s,
when he
but
was
he looked
filming.
like he was 12,
Yeah, when he was
It's
filming,
kinda
he was in
scary.
his 30s because he's like, I'm pretty sure in his like 40s, 50s now.
and he still kind of looks like he's like 12.
Yeah,
Like
he
15
hasn't
years old.
changed.
Yeah, I
The
didn't know.
brother.
I don't watch Hannah Montana.
You sure?
Sorry.
But I was gonna date myself when I was like single and living in New York. I would go to bars, and when I was living in Europe, I would tell Americans that I bet I could guess the capital of their state, and I had memorized all of them as like a Canadian, and I always got free
Wait,
drinks that way.
You memorized the capital of states?
Yes, so I could
be
get free
great
drinks.
with our trivia games.
I know, for real.
I know the capital of everything.
She knows a
but
lot of random trivia.
It's
Nebraska.
very useless. Lincoln's in Nebraska. The capital of Nebraska is Lincoln. And I know that because I don't know any other Nebraskan city, so it has to be Lincoln.
Yeah. Are you gonna stump her now?
Let's go
I haven't had to-
Washington State.
I have it like on the tip of my tongue. I was just about to say I haven't had to use this trick in a really long time, so it's
Dan, you got Washington?
on the tip of my tongue. No, that's Wyoming. Cheyenne is in Wyoming.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Danny, Washington State.
1 second.
Stop! I don't
How
even
many
know
letters
it.
do you need to type?
I was typing something else. Olympia.
That's true. Yes.
That's true. Like she didn't just Google it.
I know. I was gonna say. I was very confident about it, but the other way. Anyways. But yeah, I memorized that, and then I also, when I was in bars, if I wanted, like, my friend and I, we found out that if you want guys to like pay attention to you, you just kind of like sit at the bar and you go like, you know what? It's so funny. No matter how many times anyone's ever explained it to me, I still don't really understand how stocks work.
Oh yeah,
And
especially in New York.
now
New
you
York.
now you do that with. Then you did it with Bitcoin, and then you say that with NFTs, and that's how you get guys to talk to you.
What's the male equivalent for females? Like, what could I say at a bar alone? I still don't understand
you
why
know
everybody
what?
likes Kylie Jenner. Like,
No, you would sit there and you would go like, you know what? I feel like I really want someone to help me, like, or like, what do you think is really appealing about Fleabag?
about what?
Oh, what?
Fleabag?
What's Fleabag?
Okay, so sorry, no. Okay, Fleabag is one of those TV shows. If you tell a woman about this show, she'll either say, yes, that is one of the top 3 TV shows I've ever seen in my life, and it's changed me as a person and as a woman, or they say I've never heard of it. No middle ground.
Oh, it's the British comedy series. I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
Don't, but also do.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want women to talk to you, just go like, you know, I really want someone to explain to me like how Fleabag.
Okay,
has
but I
changed
feel
me.
like
These are
there's
good
a
TikTok ideas. That's what I'm like, what can I say? Like, I'm gonna say that on TikTok. You got that show written down?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
You should watch. You know what? If
What
you don't
about-
like the first 5 minutes of it, you're not gonna like the rest of it. So it's great. It's easy. You just pop
What is
it
it
on.
comparable to?
Nothing. it was originally
It's like
written as a
matcha
one.
tea.
It was
What's the taste
originally
like?
written as a one woman play, and you can really see that in it. It's about like a woman, and it's just about her living. And I feel like a lot of people, when they make media about women, it's very from a male
You got
perspective.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's
So
really
this would be
good.
very easy to tell because my TikTok following is 90% women. I'm
Yep.
gonna make a TikTok about this and we're gonna find out right away.
Do it. I dare you.
What's the line?
Oh, what is it?
I really don't understand why women really love the show.
No,
blah, blah, blah.
that's because I would be pissed off if I heard someone say. I'd be like, fuck that guy. Excuse
Okay,
me,
so
French.
what
Yeah,
was your
fair.
question? And why is everyone talking about Fleabag?
No, I'll be
or-
like, I really want someone to kind of like. I wonder how it would feel to watch Fleabag as a woman. If someone, I'd be like, I'll tell you exactly how it was like to watch.
It's one of those like
Fleabag as a
triggering
woman.
things where it's like it
but
happens.
not in a negative way.
No, in a positive way.
Like,
But
I
those
really
are
wanna
the
tell
TikToks
you-
that go viral, right? When you get something like that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay.
I had like 2 TikToks go viral, and for like a long time ago, and I have like 35,000 followers, and I like never updated it.
Really?
Like that was it.
Not even for the brand though, for Matcha.
Like the other thing is I think, like I was telling you guys earlier, people explain to you how little time you have after you have a kid, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, totally, and then you have a kid, and you're like, someone should have physically picked me up and shaken me and said like, no, seriously, you'll have like no time. It's like, you really don't understand it until you do it. And we've had friends the
Yeah.
other way. We explain to them gently. We're like, you won't have any time. And then they come back to us and they're like, no, you don't understand.
I know what you mean though. It's like who wants to do social media when you have a million other things going?
I'd love to, but it also feels gratuitous sometimes, doesn't it?
Yes and no. I feel like it all depends on what you're doing with it. Like if you
I
use
don't think it is gratuitous. I'm saying it almost feels that way when you have like so many things backed up, all this admin stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go make my silly little TikTok. It feels almost like extra.
Yes and no, but again, it depends why you're doing it, right? Like if you're doing it to promote your band, your
Right.
business, like whatever, then it's part of work. It's like some people hire people to do it and pay money. Just some people hire people to do admin work and
Yeah.
stuff. So I
See,
guess
that's a smart way to think about it.
I guess, yeah. And like some people, you can really help other people with your social media and all that, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I should make something though, because this is cool, and I feel like it'd be a very colorful, not very colorful, but a very vibrant page.
Yeah, I know. We're have it in the works right now. The apartment we're living in is pretty interesting. I remember the
Outdated.
So it almost it's like the kitchen light is a fluorescent light.
I know that feeling.
So it's hard to kind of create content in a space.
I know exactly. That's why we have these 2 beautiful lights, and all of our 8 lights in here are nice, like
Smart,
white lights.
because you just turn it on and then everything's ready. You don't have to.
We don't come in here enough to create content though. We have this, and then it's like even sometimes we forget to like get the snippets and stuff. That's why me and Danny have a work night tonight. And on that note, what are we at? We got
156.
holy crap, 2
Yeah.
hours. Anyways, I think it's a
Sorry.
good point. That's the best part about this. We have no time limit. We usually say we're usually an hour, but sometimes we go 2. Sometimes it just happens.
Well, because there's 2 of us. That's why.
Yeah, and it's like, again, we did a taste testing. Think about how long ago we talked about traveling and the story of how you guys met. Like that was probably like a 40-minute story.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, that's it. I guess before we wrap up, if people want to find out more about you guys individually, your brand, where can they go? How can they find you guys?
I'm at my maiden name, Madison Lays, on Instagram. Leyes. It's like
Perfect.
eyes with an L in front of it, and then
Yeah, mine is Daniel Riley. It's my first name and my dog's name.
Okay, I like that.
Riley spelled RYLEIGH.
we have
Okay.
an Instagram that Daniel actually keeps up for our church renovation called the Two Rivers Church.
Nice.
I want to follow that right away. I cannot wait to see this.
We have Matcha Dive, obviously on Instagram.
You have Matcha Dive?
Yeah,
Wow, that's a good one.
yeah.
It's very rare, actually, because I feel like matcha is a popular word, obviously.
Well, I guess we just picked like the
Like
most.
coffee dive, like I feel like that's probably taken.
Coffee Dive's probably taken.
Oh, that's good, though. I like that. No dots or anything.
Yeah.
George would literally say the same thing. It's like very rare you get like a short form word like that.
Well, Daniel's also a perfectionist. I don't know if I mentioned this quite a few times, and I think like
He probably had another name like lined up. Like, oh, we can't get the Instagram.
We had to get a name where we could get the
Yeah.
URL.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big part of it for him, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we also have Soggy Stop and Shop.
Yeah, so we have Soggy,
Soggy
Stop and
Stop
Shop.
on
Soggy
Instagram.
Stop on Instagram. But we're still waiting on our rebrand, so everything's a little bit paused there. But if you are ever driving through, especially up to Tobermory, Paisley's a great stop on the way to Tobermory.
I wish
I
we
really
did
want
this
to
a
go to
weekend.
Tobermory.
My little cousin just spent the weekend in Tobermory.
And she didn't come to Soggy Stop and Shop
didn't.
for the ramen?
Maybe
He didn't,
did,
sir.
actually. I don't know.
He might have.
He might have.
We do get a lot of people come through, and they're usually pretty surprised. They're like, "This is here? You have this in here?" And I'm like, "Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do."
Anyways, guys, on that note, It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this one. I love that I learned something new. Actually, I learned a lot of new things today. And I'm going to transition over to matcha for you guys. Well, not for you guys, for me,
we have like a 1 week challenge going. I challenge you to try it just for a week. Switch over from coffee. You can keep your coffee.
And there are matcha cocktails as well.
Yeah.
That you can make if you like drinking.
Love drinking. Well, I was just thinking, I'm like, I don't normally drink like espresso martinis, which I feel like is like the common coffee alcohol, or like Bailey's and coffee. But I will have some matcha vodka drinks just for you guys. And I'm going to bring this because it's a little travel pack. I'm going to bring this with me to Thunder Bay, and I'm not going to have any espressos all weekend. But one of my best friends getting married this weekend, so I'm going to Thunder Bay, and I'm going to bring it, and then I'm going to bring it with us to Europe.
You are so committed.
I love that. Like,
I am committed.
Actually, you know what? That's another one that when you're at the bar and you go like, you know what, matcha's really, switching over to matcha's really actually made me feel great. Like, that's another one you can get to attract the ladies.
I'm going to try that one too. What was the first one? The Hazley Paisley?
Honestly,
no, Hazley.
you should do that. Go to a bar, just start talking about matcha. You can start
to see yourself.
Did you ever try Matcha Dive?
Yeah, have you ever tried matcha?
Oh my god, the best new brand.
I feel like
promoting their business, talking to a girl. This is like full circle.
Wait, is matcha more of a male or a female thing?
Female thing. Well, like, so that's another thing.
Actually, yeah, I feel like I know a lot of girls that drink matcha because I always see like green. I'm assuming green caffeinated drinks are matcha.
We're trying really hard to kind of bring it, like, it really honestly is for everybody.
Gender neutral.
So we're trying to bring it to a space like that's more gender neutral and also like more racially inclusive. I find that primarily like a lot of advertising is very like focused in one direction. So, ironically, since it originated from Japan, so
sorry, I'm not following. Like, you mean like it's advertising catered towards white people or
white women?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, and it feels like a lot of the
that
States
is odd because it's
sometimes
obviously
feels like very
it's
exclusive.
big in Asia.
Yeah,
Wow,
which I know
that.
is so funny. But the goal for us is to just bring it to. I think that was actually one of the campaigns we wanted to run eventually in the future. Was like matcha is for everybody, like literally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, if
really
it's like coffee, it's really
exactly
for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, and it, we believe it helps you and it makes you feel better, and we just want to share that.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about matcha forever. I feel like.
I love that for you guys. Anyways, again, people want to find out more about Matcha Dive. It's at Matcha Dive. Website is
matchadive.com. Boom, boom, boom.
Obviously, had to get that. Guys, again, this was a blast. Thank you so much for coming on and teaching me about matcha.
Thank you so much. For
and
having
I love
us,
hearing
guys.
your story
Thank
too.
you so much.
I'm gonna meet my future wife on the subway. That's why I'm single.
You're going.
I haven't been on the subway recently.
Yeah, we're gonna see like a news report, like man stalks women on subway.
And that's really where we wrap it up. Guys, if you made it to the end of it, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Give them a follow. Give Matcha Dive a follow. Buy some online or the stores that we mentioned earlier. And other than that, signing off, pals. Cheers.
You like to drink and to smoke to take away the pain. And I don't remember all of my mistakes and every high. Gotta know one thing. You're not alright. I'm not alright. I like to drink and smoke, take away